Hello everyone and welcome to the West Coast Eagles live coverage, the live stream of waffle action here at Steel Blue Oval. There's a familiar face, a man who made his name at this venue before joining the West Coast Eagles, Nick Naitanui, of course, and it is a glorious day. Steve Bandy is in commentary. Thumper, good day for footy.
Oh, magnificent day. Pleasure to be alongside yourself, Tim. This is a game for the die-hard supporters, though, of course, going up against the West Coast Eagles fixture against the Adelaide Crows. No doubt breaking statistical records today, but we do appreciate everyone jumping on board the stream thus far.
And seventh plays eighth on the ladder. Make that seventh plays ninth, should I say. Of course, West Coast and Swan Districts. It's going to be an intriguing battle. Of course, West Coast trying to find a bit of form. There's been a number of changes to their lineup. And there's a player that's going to get a lot of the ball and command a lot of attention in Jared Brenner. Alrighty, let's head now to a new face as part of the West Coast Eagles live stream telecast. Thanks to Hungry Jacks to tell us all about the conditions. It's welcome to a very big name recruit to the AFL women's team at the West Coast Eagles, Dana Hooker. Dana, good afternoon.
Thanks, Goss and Steve. Fantastic conditions down here at Steel Blue Oval. Sunny, 20 degrees. Couldn't ask for better conditions today. And just a slight breeze coming across the ground, so it shouldn't affect either of the kicking ends there. So both West Coast and Swan Districts will be hungry for a win today, with West Coast just posting 2 wins for the season thus far, and Swan Districts just 1. Interestingly, the Swans haven't won here at their home ground since June the 2nd, 2018, so they'll be hungry to get the win in front of their home ground. And West Coast coming off of a 9-day break, they should be feeling fresh, and we should be in for a really exciting game today.
Beautiful stuff. Well done, Dana. Dana Hooker will be keeping us updated on the boundary line throughout the afternoon, and welcome aboard belatedly from us here in the commentary to Dana, and she's going to be a big face of the West Coast Eagles going forward.
We see on telecast here Nick Reid, number 66 for the West Coast Eagles. Lucky to get here today. Had a bit of car trouble. Needed the Waffle footy manager to come rescue him, come pick him up. So great to see him on board and make it to the game on time. Expecting big things after the slow warm-up.
Yeah, well, he's a North Beach amateur, and hello to the North Beach Amos who got beaten by Wembley last week under lights in a twilight fixture down there at Royal Wembley, down there in the Matthews Netball Centre, not far from West Coast Eagles headquarters as it stands right now.
First win, I hear, for Wembley for the season.
Yeah, first win for Wembley, and nothing like beating North Beach, who've been a bit of a stumbling block over the journey. But looking forward to this. There's Josh Smith in the middle of the picture, and Brendan Archie, of course.
A couple of emergencies for the Eagles team over the weekend, but unfortunately didn't make the final 22, thus rejoining their teammates here at Steel Blue Oval this afternoon.
No Jackson Nelson, of course, or Will Schofield, rule a line through them.
Funny story, Jackson Nelson got the call-up.
Well, I'll be the judge. Can I just be the judge of the funny story bit? Say it's a funny story according to who? All
right, you ready? Try this one out. So, missed 2 games. Obviously hasn't played, had the West Coast bye, and then was the emergency leading into the Demons game over the weekend. Found out, got the call-up, instructed the old man that he was to be required, travelled from London to come and watch the game today in Adelaide. So hats off to Mr. Nelson and his commitment to the cause.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. Good to have Jackson Nelson. Alrighty, the skippers are going into the middle of the ground. Matt Riggio and, of course, the big unit, Fraser McInnes. Toss of the coin. Photo first, the mandatory photo. Our umpires today, Curtis Snadden, Ben Laycock and Keegan Titterton. Here's the toss of the coin, and they look, they find, and it's been won by Fraser McInnes, we think. And he is kicking to the city end as he heads back to his group of players at centre half forward. And as we heard from Dana Hooker, what a beautiful day for football. Not a breath of wind at the moment, but I can tell you the ground is great. And not a bad little crowd in. They do get a wonderful support here at Swan Districts, and albeit up against an AFL fixture, they still come out in their numbers, especially the members, and it's going to be pretty fiery, I would imagine, from the start.
So they should. Good crowd over at the Carlton Draft tent on the opposite wing to us, Tim. If the call starts to go south, you'll see me there in a heartbeat.
Nice work. And I'd love to get a shot of the bloke wearing this striped jacket as he's coming off the ground near the interchange. He's the ground announcer. We can't see it on the screen at the moment, but he's in the black and white stripe. There he is. That's Talon Ames.
That's not Beetlejuice, is it?
That is Talon Ames, who is putting some wonderful effort back into the waffle football. And well done to Talon. He's a good man, a state player, and he is their ground announcer. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. A representative of state footy, well over, I think, 200 games for the club. And good to have him still around the waffle system. Fantastic stuff. And there are our 3 umpires, Snadden, Laycock and Titterton.
Sorry, what was that?
Titterton, Keegan Titterton is umpire 23. 18 is Ben Laycock. And boundary umpire 2 is Curtis Snadden.
As we see the 4 midfielders for West Coast having a brief chat prior to bounce. Keegan Brooksby, Archie been in red-hot form. Ainsworth and Brady Gray, formidable 4. Keegan Brooksby obviously second in hit-outs for the league thus far. Almost proved the difference in the third quarter last week against the Royals when sent forward. Can do a multitude of different roles, Keegan Brooksby, but they are definitely requiring him in the ruck thus far with Tom Hickey out of play.
Thanks to Hungry Jacks, this is the West Coast Eagles waffle team up against Swan Districts at Steel Blue Oval. Steve Bandy, Dana Hooker and yours truly, Tim Gossage, with you on a glorious Saturday afternoon. Stay with us. We'll keep you posted in regards to the AFL scores as well as the chips have arrived with gravy, courtesy of Grady Wolf. Here we go. We're underway.
The 2 ruckmen set to go at it. Blakely and Brooksby. What is round 7 at Steel Blue Oval. West Coast and Swan Districts, and we're underway. Archie claims it. He's immediately taken. A couple of Swan Districts tacklers, and we'll restart play yet again inside the centre circle. As we mentioned, fantastic conditions here. You wouldn't know it's a winter sport by the looks of it. Shouldn't be any excuses for missing targets, sloppy play thus far. And not much wind to speak of. Going across ground, if anything. We see a free kick going the way of West Coast. Archie moves it on. We have Brander on the near wing. Sees an option inside, pulls the kick nice. Archie finds Mutimer, got a penetrating left boot. Opts the short option, puts it in front of Smith. He's got pace, certainly on Howard. Little left foot ship into the path of young Rebillard, and the ball's taken out of play. In fact, it's Reed. And we'll have a throw in inside 50.
A couple of new names you'll see. Alexander Coe and also Luke Salamone making their waffle debuts. Good to see them on board for the West Coast Eagles today.
Throw in. Brooksby, back position, works his opponent underneath it. Sends a high ball. Dangerous area. Williams flies, as does a number of Swannies. Reed at ground level, look dangerous. But in the end, the Black Ducks able to hold up for a stoppage at the top of the goal square.
That's a promising start by West Coast in the opening couple of minutes. They look switched on today. That's a good sign.
Blakely goes at it. Swan Districts. Clearing kick. Brander front position. 2v1. Simpson provided a contest. Brings it down. Cipro breaks the tackle. Got a bit of space. Swan Districts on the wing here. Little handball over the top. Back to Italiano on the left boot. Puts it in front of space. Umpire sounds like he's given away the kick. He has. It's going the way of Noble, left half forward for the Swan Districts.
Yeah, not too sure about that. It was almost as he kicked it. The replay would be interesting, but yeah, down the ground. So Swan Districts, their first forward sortie, first inside 50.
Numbers are flooded back. Noble, no choice, long, top of the goal square. Oh, 2 plucks at it from Coleman. Can't take it. Italiano's wrapped up by Cole. Beautiful tackle there. Curnow, is it a free kick against Curnow?
Yeah, non-controlling umpires come in and he said he dumped him to the ground.
Let's see a replay of this if we can. And Curnow, very unfortunate there, and tacked the contest and the man with the ball. Oh, see, I almost think that Italiano has almost jumped to the ground there, and Curnow's force has gone to it. I don't even think he instigated that contact.
Hello to Lewis Jetta.
Regardless, in comes Italiano, first score of the day, and it belongs to Swan Districts.
Here's a boy from the Harvey Bulls, and he's back in the lineup, coming into this team, of course. There's not much of him. He's pretty nuggety, 75 kilos and 180 centimetres, but that's a good start. Didn't really strike it at all well in that set shot, but that's a good start for Swans. One inside 50. They've had the rub of the green early with the umpires, but they've made make hay while the sun shines, and that's a very good start for the Black Ducks.
Hardly had their hands on the footy in the early going, but a quick passage of play on the broadcast side wing certainly opened things up, but the stats will say that's 2 free kicks, resulting in the opening score of the game for the home side. As the umpire prepares for a restart of play, again, it's Brooksby v Blakely, a quality matchup for the entire afternoon. Quick kick forward by Stevens, playing in the guts today. Fisher worries his man out of it. Quick snap into the path of Brander. Can it sit for him? It does. He's very creative, this young man. Opts back on the left. That's a risky kick, but it pays dividends. Finds Gray. Curnow receives from behind. Goes to the wing. Smith's found some space. Payne holds him up on the mark. Boots it long down the line. Good target set there by Bailey Williams. Strong hands. The big fella wheels around, wants to put it in a dangerous area. Swans have the numbers at ground level. Turner can mop up, finds Wilson, and Hampson a real relieving short pass. Lateral to Simpson.
Interesting positioning too from Fraser McInnes. Going to get more on that. He's certainly not in the forward half of the ground at the moment, standing at centre half back directing traffic.
Umpires called play on. Simpson, no choice, bangs it down the line. Rotham front position, takes it uncontested. Italiano choosing not to fly on that occasion.
Interesting coaching move by Luke Webster and the West Coast coaching staff to have Fraser McInnes in the back half today.
Joshy Rotham pumps it to the flank. Ball at ground level. Bain can't collect cleanly. And it stacks on the mill with the half-forward flank. We'll have another ball up. Big Joshy Rotham, good intercept grab down there. Almost the most senior player in this defensive back half of the West Coast Eagles, which is certainly saying something about their depth at the moment. Ainsworth, quick kick forward on the right. Williams butters up well, but he's well taken. In the end, Payne just bangs a torpedo out of play, and Rotham helps it on its way. We'll have a throw in just in front of the interchange gate.
Yeah, Fraser McInnes standing on Corey Galt. Of course, Corey Galt played half a dozen games for Collingwood. Good to have him still playing at Swan Districts, of course. And he's standing at centre half forward.
West Coast yet to hit the scoreboard. Played 5 minutes here in the opening term. Brady Gray used his body well. Can't collect. Bit scrappy in there. Look at Gray go at it. Hard-fought possession to the feet of Brander. What a pick-up and turn. He's ducked through two of them, the young fella. Bangs it on the boot. Williams, terrific contested mark. And that showcases some of the youth on display here for the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, it's a couple of good grabs now by Williams inside his forward 50. He's got to get bang for his buck, though. He's got to connect with these, and this is albeit at a tight angle.
Have a look at that collect and turn. Ducked away from two tacklers. Jared Brander, no wonder they're playing him high on a wing. If he can do some of that stuff, he'll soon shake the role of just a forward target. Bailey Williams lining up for West Coast's first score of the afternoon. Starts at skinny, doesn't work its way back. Through for a minor score.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play and have shots if you haven't played a lot of footy here with this, especially that end of the ground. It's pretty exposed at the Guildford end of the ground.
Tony Knott, of course, the ex-West Coast Eagle. Famous for the steak knives Judd deal, Tim Gossage. Good to see still playing here at waffle level. Turner takes it uncontested in the back half. He's got a number on the outside, chooses to go broadcast wing instead. Kicks for distance. Galt the target, worried out of it well by Rotham. Ball trickles to the line and over and out. One of the better blokes going around the waffle competition. Old Tony Knott, good to see him still playing not just footy here at the top level, but consistent and quality football.
Three-time club fairest and best, Tony Knott, of course. Played a couple of games for West Coast against Melbourne and Hawthorn off the top of my head.
What's his record there, Tim?
0-2. Didn't play in a winning AFL fixture, Tony Knott. Played in plenty of wins here, though, at Swan Districts.
Learnt the song for nothing, is what you're telling me. Brooksby, front position, does well. Archie can't collect. He's set upon there by a couple of Black Ducks. In the end, another ball up.
When I was the host of the Western Front, he and Nick Naitanui graduated together and handed out their graduation certificates at high school. Tony Knott and Nick Naitanui.
That's a ratings blockbuster, I dare say there.
They got a celebrity up there. Don't shake their hand. One of us has gone on with it. Hello to Nick.
Ciprose, quick kick forward. Good pressure there from Kalazic, holds it up. And that's a tough matchup on Daniels there. He looks like he could run through a brick wall. Young Daniels. Well collected there from Coe, the first gamer, slams it on the boot. Centre half forward, Reid can't handle it cleanly. Glass McCasker dribbles a kick forward. Footy up for grabs here in the middle. Big ball to be won. In comes Reid, works it well. Fisher on the left, tremendous pass, finds Rebillard. Needs to wait for some runners, has one. This is Brander, the kick's sloppy, and it travels out of play.
Yeah, basic error there. You can't pass a 25-metre pass when you're stepping backwards. Only the best of the best can do that. So that's an error. Gives Swan District the stoppage at right half back, left half forward for West Coast.
It was a very risky kick at centre half forward, but Reid, with his second effort, followed up well. Archie just bangs it on the boot. Inside 50. Here he is on cue. Ball escapes him. Another throw-in.
Everyone in the forward half for West Coast. They've really dominated possession so far, but at this stage have only got the 1 minus score, so they want to start to get some reward for effort.
Umpire sends the ball back into play. Blakely, clean possession. Bangs it on the left. Umpire says had a bit of a problem with it.
Yeah, pushing the back against the doctor. Not too sure about that, but Brooksby's a very hard man to move. And glowing reports during the week from Adam Simpson about Keegan Brooksby's role at the footy club with this young group, having a lot of experience. He hasn't got the call up, but he's just got to be ready in case the big man stocks are depleted at the AFL level. So he's giving everything, Keegan Brooksby, which is a wonderful sign for a bloke to come over and really take a part of the development of the West Coast Eagles.
This will take his best effort. Going to strike it from outside of the paint of the 50.
Good kid.
Has the distance. Bailey Williams just in front. In fact, it doesn't. Fisted over the line. I've gone the early crow. And it's the Eagles trailing by a goal in the early stages of the opening quarter. Long kick out. It's almost going to reach the wing. At ground level, West Coast numbers behind play. Mutimer connects the handball, finds Gray. Quickly ducks in, sends a high ball. Williams has got a fly, does so. Gutsy stuff there from Wilson. Stood his ground. Good tackle, good follow-up there from Bailey Williams. He locks it in. And the umpire, no choice but to ball it up.
No one really dominating the football in regards to individual stats at the moment. Archie and Brand are 3 now. Italiano 3 for Swans.
Great hit out there from Brooksby. Finds Smith in the corridor. Kick forward. Reid, one-on-one contest. He's got Rayner to beat on his non-preferred. Oh, you could tell from that disposal. Rebillard almost got in the way of it. Handball to no one. Rotham there in support. In the end, the boundary line to win. Slung over the line as the umpire fallen for it. Not on this occasion.
I hope he doesn't fall for it.
Rotham just gingerly runs back to one of the shorter opponents of the day, young Howlett. Surely that's not the matchup for the entire afternoon. As the umpire piffs it back into play. Brady Gray working hard there in the stoppage. Yet another clearance. The mark, obviously not the required 15, so it's a loose ball on the footy. Italiano can't collect. Daniels there, well taken by Mutimer. And the congestion at forward flank is going to result in yet another ball up.
Doesn't mind a bit of ink, Daniels.
Geez, is this your chips and gravy you just brought in here?
No, Grady Wolf, who's one of the fine young media talents going around at the moment, going through broadcast.
Oh, good tackle there. Simpson dispossessed. A chance here for West Coast. Bailey Williams in the pocket, tunnelled underneath it. Cleverly done there from Swan Districts. Who for the minor score? That was Salamone's first disposal of the day for the West Coast Eagles. Swan Districts want to move this on quickly. Curnow flies, can't collect. Has to butter up. Is well taken by Wilson. Fraser McInnes in there as well. And we'll have another stoppage.
You can have a chip with gravy if you wish.
Honestly, that's one of the best, in our 3 calls, that is one of the best things you've produced.
I didn't produce it.
Why you haven't claimed that, I have no idea. Brooksby looks for the tap in the corridor. Brady Gray couldn't stick the tackle. Swan Districts. It's an open forward line.
Oh,
great truck position there from Noble. Fisher, not much you could do about that. Daniels is streaming back inside forward 50. Has a yard on his man, Kalasic. The kick's going to fall short. Who's it going to favour? Oh, big contest there. Smith put his body on the line against Daniels. Gutsy stuff there. A fair mismatch in the weight department. Daniels looked like he could fight in a heavyweight championship anytime soon. I think he's had a couple of professional fights, Tim. Are you keen to put yourself in the ring with him?
We'll pass.
Riggio doing the ruck contest there, I saw. Cipro dispossessed by Cameron. Good tackle.
Love it, not a fight.
Oh, geez, he's called hanging on. Unsure about that one. Thought Cameron did well. And Cipro just dropped it. But regardless, he's got the ball. There's no breeze going to either end. It's more of a cross-ground breeze. So he's going to take one of the better efforts to make the distance from here.
Likes his chance. He's going to kick from about 55, between the centre square and 50.
Unable to break into the team at times. A career-high 7 tackles last week. Provides great defensive work around the contest. Goal kicking, a little less to be desired. Through for behind.
Not exactly a clean game, a tough game. That's one thing's for sure. Plenty of body pressure from both teams, but not a lot of clean possession so far. That mark by the same token by Braden Noble was an absolute ripper. Good contested grab.
Mutimer short to McInnes. Very rarely getting the safety kick out of the back half as the skipper, but his kick is on point, finds Archie. Still looking to come down from his mark of the Millennium Contender. Happening any day soon. O'Neill collects. Handball inside. Gray hasn't got much time, but he moves it quickly. Goes into the pocket. This is the first gamer. Salamone needs a contest. He's got numbers. Reed there in support, but the boundary line wins out.
Silence was brought to you by Chips and Gravy.
You don't need to tell our viewers of exactly what's happening in here, mate.
I'll take the Hungry Jacks anytime you like, thanks.
Well said. As Bailey Williams finds himself against Galt in this contest. Loose footy. Up for grabs at centre-half forward. Nothing doing there. A stack of players around this next ball up. Going to be doing well to get clear possession. Williams flies early. Brady Gray again at the coalface. Looking for
touch.
Coe, the first gamer, takes one without it. Big over anxious there, and Coleman will take the free kick.
Yeah, free kick was there. He's been in good form in the last 4 weeks. He hadn't kicked a goal in the opening 2 rounds. He's now the leading goal kicker at Swan Districts. He's had 3 and I think 3 lots of 2 over the last month. So he's got a bit of form, but he's a long way from the goals at half back.
Hampson, the 3-time club best and fairest winner, sends it down the line. O'Neill able to wrap this up. Of course, 2 coming with Subiaco and 1 for East Fremantle.
He's a journeyman, old George, isn't he?
Seems to be with that kind of resume.
No, yeah, Georgie Hampson, eh?
Umpire to restart play. Williams was so impressive last week in the ruck. Let's hope he continues this afternoon here at Steel Blue Oval. Daniels roving. Good tackle there laid by Galt, and we'll have another ball up. He's actually doing some 16 and 18s assistant coaching work here at the Black Ducks. Good to see him giving back to the youth.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job too. It's keeping him busy, which is good for his footy.
Foley, back feed to Fisher, sends it down the line. Archie wanted the push in the back, nothing doing. Well collected there. Wilson finds Stevens, punches it forward on the left foot, front position. Well read there from Josh Rotham.
Yeah, kicked it to the wrong side, Stevens. He's playing through a lot of pain. He's got bad knees and has had bad knees right through his career.
Risky kick, just finds the hand of Foley. Axel, as I like to call him. Don't know if he's taken the nickname as well as I have. Obviously his first year on the West Coast Eagles list. Kicks for distance down the line. Williams, 2 to beat, out the back. Reed says thank you very much. Shirks the tackle and finds the first gamer for the West Coast Eagles in Salamone. Kicks into the man on the mark. Not ideal. Tony not able to collect. Feeds Turner. Lowers the eyes. Here's Cipro. Had a runner going past. This is Warwick Wilson. Back to Cipro. They've got a bit of run here through the middle Swan Districts. Rotham going back. Provides a great contest. Ball at ground level. A chance for the Black Ducks. Bain, little left foot kick. Fisher in best position. And great support provided by the West Coast Eagles.
He's been very good, Fisher. He's an inclusion into the... He's one of the add-on players. He doesn't do much wrong. He's really fitted in over the opening couple of months.
Risky kick. Turner takes full advantage. The kick going back into the waiting arms of Fisher. Played every game so far this year. Oh, the kick's a dangerous one. Italiano had a chance to put Smith in it next week. Unable to do so.
Yeah, he's been good, Fisher, but his last 2 kicks haven't been. He put him on his teammate's head, so pump him up every day of the week and they'll let you down.
Tim Call, a spade, Gossage, providing special comments here today. Fraser McInnes could have taken that clearly out of position, didn't on that occasion, and he'll get another crack at it inside Swans forward 50.
Yeah, we've played 17 minutes for a goal on a perfect day. It really hasn't been a high-quality game of football at the moment, but you'd feel like any team that gets a couple, 2 or 3 goals on the run will certainly have the opposition on the back foot.
McInnes now, the 3rd ruckman we've seen for West Coast. Taking the hit out, and he's almost wrapped his arms around 3 Swan Districts players then. Did well to provide another stoppage. As we see, look at that, Black Ducks, 5 people on their defensive side. Got to equalise the numbers there, West Coast. O'Neill can't collect. Cipro does. Been hot in the early going. Gives to Stevens. Jumping in front, Curnow. Good double fist spoil. And he finds the boundary line.
Yeah, one-on-one stuff forward of the play. So when West Coast get it, Swan Districts are happy to go one-on-one. They're not sort of floating one behind the play. Although they have pulled Riggio out now on the he's standing on the 50-metre line. So he's the free man if West Coast don't deliver the ball out with precision.
McInnes against Coleman. Falls to Foley. He hurriedly puts it on the boot. In the end, Robiliard can't catch up to it. Another throw-in. West Coast Eagles still searching for their first goal. We've played almost 20 minutes here in the opener. Not a lot of free-flowing footy, as previously mentioned. Not a lot of switching behind play either, Goss, that we do get used to at the top level.
Yeah, 15 inside 50 so far in almost 20 minutes of play for just the one goal. Tackling's been the feature. 31 tackles laid already in this game. And 50 metres. That'll be 50, won't it?
It is against Cameron, so Ainsworth kick around the corner, a little blind. They had the numbers down the line, Swan Districts, and a little bit clumsy there from West Coast, allowing Tony Knott perhaps a chance for Swan District's second major.
He's going to have to kick at 60.
Well, was that 50? I don't think that was 50.
No, it wasn't. It was a very... you wouldn't want to be buying real estate off that bloke. It was about a 35-metre penalty, I reckon.
Tony Knott with legs very similar shape to mine. He's going to take his best effort from here.
Same suntan.
Gives it a red-hot crack. Has he got the carry? Tony Knott, take a bow.
That was a big kick. That was a ripping kick. I'm sure he's kicked plenty of goals. That's a 60-metre kick on the fly, Tony Knott.
I told you how that is.
Absolutely brilliant. The kick from Ainsworth pulled the back in. Now, here's the 50-metre penalty. And just the hand, the swatting of the ball, just no need for it at all. And he had to give that everything. He didn't just make the line either. He cleared the line in a big way. That's a wonderful start for Tony Knott and Swan Districts with the first 2 goals in the game. And West Coast defence has been under pressure. Swan Districts seem to have worked them out nicely so far.
What else would you expect from a 3-time club best and fairest winner? Well, probably a spray it, seeing as though he's a defender, but didn't on this occasion.
Their 2 goals have come from a 50-metre penalty, free kick, Italiano, and a 50-metre penalty. So 2 goals given to them by West Coast to the point of being a tad undisciplined.
I'm going to say 1 warranted and 1 not so.
Yeah, well, you just call. I'll do the special comments.
Brooksby favourite from the bounce. Umpire didn't want to recall it. Obviously got somewhere to be tonight. Stevens, hurried clearance. Front position, Italiano, great tap. Puts it in the path of Riggio. His kick is precise. And he fires Daniels about 25 metres out. Very little angle to speak of.
I think it was intended for Noble. Had a bit too much on the kick. Noble pulled the hand down and well done. They had Daniels behind him to take the mark. So that's a good centre clearance. West Coast will have to start to sharpen themselves up around the centre circle on the with those centre bounces.
Daniels should make no mistake here for the Black Ducks. A bit of hook on this ball. In fact, it's too much. And a bit of get out of jail there for the West Coast. I don't like the look of how this game's panning in the opening going here, Tim. Not much forward 50 entry with purpose. It's all a bit of high, long bomb at the moment. Let's hope they can get a bit of ball control here. Rotham has a bit of a trot, sends it down the wing. No one flying for West Coast. Brooksby still ends up with it in the breadbasket. Ainsworth bangs it down the line. Cameron, good defensive spoil. And the boundary line a win as far as West Coast are concerned.
Yeah, George Hampson's just run onto the ground. Now he's got his hamstring taped up, his quad taped up, his left knee strapped up, and he started on the bench. So, look, he's a quality player, but he doesn't look anywhere near a player that looks fit.
That was brilliant work there from Cameron. Knew there was no chance to collect. Had to provide the defensive spoil and reset yet again. Why wouldn't you with a ruckman and Keegan Brooksby? A chance here for West Coast at the 50. Ainsworth sees Smith. Handball needs to sit. It does. Has to turn on the left. How good is he from here? Long ball, top of the square. Williams can't mark. Cameron attempts it off the deck. No score though. Swan Districts will want to concede. Glass McCasker says, no, we don't. We'll just pump it out of there. But Brady Gray, terrific chest mark with the fly to the footy.
How good was that? He knew that he was being that the Swan Districts Howlett was bearing down on him, turned the body and took a very, very good chest mark. Now, he could go to Mutimer here because he's a beautiful kick.
He can load up, or he does. Just wants to go to the hot spot. Top of the square. Pack forms. Archie, best hands. Cameron, ground level. Oh, it's Salamone, in fact, but it's touched on the line. And a chance goes begging there for the West Coast Eagles. Wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. Thought Archie was going to gobble it right up. And a great defensive spoil there at the death.
Yeah, Luke Salamone could sniff a goal in his first game. The boy from Aquinas and Maris Juniors. But was touched on the line. Very resolute defence by the Black and Whites.
Rotham third man up. Good spoil. O'Neill sees his teammate on the inside. It's Mutimer. Certainly a man you want to have the footy at all times. Penetrating left foot kick. Goes to the pocket. Williams there. Oh, he rides on Cameron, his own teammate, but can't bring it down. And he can fly, this young fella, Tim. I know Archie's already driving or spending the money he's earned for Mark of the Year, but this boy's got some hops.
Yeah, the only difference there is he didn't touch the ball. He did not lay a glove on it.
Shallow throw in. Brooksby to Foley, kick inside. Who's flying? West Coast at ground level. Cameron, good tackle there, just gets the handball out. Kick inside from Coe. Looking for Smith. Hampson overruns it. A chance for West Coast. Smith bangs it forward. Has it got the carry? It does. But he's pushed it to the right. And the Eagles are peppering for little result at the moment.
Yeah, 13 inside 50s in the opening 24 and a half minutes for 4 points. That is not what Luke Webster and the coaching staff would be wanting. But well done to Swan Districts. Their defence is working hard. Not a lot of clean possession inside for West Coast.
Tony Knott sinks the slipper in, sends it long. Good spoil there from Brooksby. Simpson's got to run at it. Fisher needs to be calm. Curnow lays a Shepherd, but the boundary line wins out.
16 tackles apiece, inside 50s, 13 to 8 West Coast. Hit outs 16 to 10. Keegan Brooksby dominating that area, but Blakely's working hard. Very undersized ruckman Blakely.
Cipro hurriedly on the left. Bouncing ball, well collected from Curnow. Sends a torpedo in front of Reed. Coe collects well. Reed, bit untidy there. Cipro takes full advantage. Just ducks away from the tackle. Good collect there from Howlett. Stevens to Turner. He's got an extra runner in Galt. Not too many options. Oh, the runner over the top. Great work there from Cipro. Following up, third touch of the possession. Lowers the eyes, and Hampson takes it uncontested inside forward 50.
I think West Coast defence thought that though he's going to kick it deeper, and it would certainly be deeper and longer. Hampson provided, but he lowered the eyes perfectly, as you mentioned there, Thumper. George Hampson, a beautiful kick of the footy in this situation normally.
What was so clever about that is Rotham was patrolling as the deepest defender for West Coast, but playing 20 yards in front of his man. So a long ball would have delivered it directly to his hands, but they lowered the eyes well, Swans. Hampson can't capitalise, pushes it right, still a chance. Coleman, the flyer, can't take it, and Rotham very cleverly just bumbles and fumbles over the boundary line.
Yeah, poor strike from Hampson. He's better than that, which goes back to my original comment, and I just don't reckon he's moving it all well since the state game.
Glass McCasker looking a little sore there on the boundary line for Swan Districts.
Dana Hooker will be keeping an eye on that, working the boundary.
As we see a plane flying over the right forward pocket. Where are we exactly, Tim? Hug can't collect this one. Salamone, well taken from Wilson. And we'll have another throw in.
Yeah, that's a trademark of Bassendean Oval, Steel Blue Oval. The airport traffic, of course, to the eastern side of the ground. Fantastic stuff, and you see them come in. Many a TV shot over the years, Steve Bandy, of the low-flying planes.
Williams has to work from behind, does so well. Looks for Gray. Ainsworth there. Needs to butter up with some defensive work there. Braden Ainsworth. He does so.
Saw big Quinton Lynch this morning. He was out there coaching Aquinas against Hale for a big game at Hale School.
Ugh.
It was a massive game.
Any idea the result of that one?
No, I don't know, but his three best players are in the state 18, so he was working against it, the big Q.
More front position over Cameron. Takes the uncontested mark. Wants to move it quickly. It's a congested forward 50. Gives his flyers a chance.
Good mark.
And it's a tremendous grab there from Coleman on the death of quarter time. And a chance to give Swan Districts a decisive 15-point lead if he kicks truly.
Yeah, and speaking of big marks, we're going to tell you we had a bit of a debate on the rundown, which is, of course, you can get on the West Coast Eagles website, westcoasteagles.com.au. Ryan Daniels and Paddy Sweeney. We talked about the Liam Ryan mark. Where does it rate in regards to the best marks of the West Coast Eagles? That's coming up shortly after Lee Coleman has a chance to put Swan District's third goal on the board. West Coast goalless in this first quarter.
Past month, quite prolific. 3-2-2-2 is his goal tally. A chance for a fair bit of momentum at the quarter-time break. Strikes it high, but hits it truly. And Swan Districts with a ton of momentum heading into the first change.
Yeah, Tony Knott's kicked a goal, Italiano's kicked a goal, and now Lee Coleman has kicked a goal, and it is the Swan Districts Black Ducks. They are 3-2-20. West Coast are 5 behind. We'll get an update from Dana Hooker at boundary level, working the boundary this afternoon for the West Coast Eagles telecast. The live stream here at Bassendean Oval. It is Swan Districts by 15 points, thanks to Hungry Jacks. Let's take a look back at the rundown. Paddy Sweeney, Ryan Daniels and yours truly debating where the Liam Ryan mark stood so far in Eagles history. Liam Ryan's magnificent mark. It's had a bit of an afterthought and some fallout from it. But Liam Ryan's mark, where does it rate in the marks taken by West Coast Eagles over the journey? I've got my opinion. It is not in the top three, not even close.
Not in the top three?
Nah.
Okay. Well, for starters, I love that every single day Liam seems to have run 10 metres further. It was 60 metres, then 70, now it's 150 metres. He's run from outside in Leederville. But for me, you can't go past Ash Sampi. That mark, the sheer elevation and the fact that he got vertical, I tend to prefer the great marks when the guy's straight up. So if you literally, he looks like he's standing on somebody's shoulders. Liam's mark was fantastic. It was a crucial point in the game. The way he got up on Max Gawn of all people. But to me, the Sampi mark is number one. I can't go past that. I'm very interested to see who's in the other two spots ahead of Liam Ryan.
My pleasure. Just hold your horses.
Sampi number one, I agree also because it was on Ember's back or shoulders, whatever you want to say.
Hope you're watching, great man.
I also think Chris Waterman's at the MCG or not. That was your classical mark. I think that's in the top three, 100%. And for number three, I think Liam Ryan's on the weekend. But I think if he can consistently do what he's been doing, and he did it against the Bulldogs last year. This guy's only in the fledgling part of his career. If he can do that, he will no doubt end as the Eagles' number one high flyer. Brett Heady was also very good back in the day.
All right, pull up, mate. You can only mention a couple. You don't have to mention them all. Just one moment. I'll just call Nick Naitanui and find out if he's on the line. Nick, you've taken any decent marks over the journey, mate? Nick Naitanui's taken his own bag full. Nick Naitanui, we're rolling some of them now. Nick Naitanui is a marking machine, and there's a couple right here that we're seeing now that are clearly in the top three. Liam Ryan was a good mark.
Yeah, but which one? You can't see, it's not a body of work. Which specifically
against Geelong, that's
it
the
took a
only one.
massive mark. Yeah, that's one of the. Waterman definitely is in the list. Yes. I mean, Liam Ryan was a huge mark. Don't get me wrong. It was a team lifter. It was a game lifter, and it's what we expect from Liam Ryan. But I'm telling you right now, pound for pound, he wasn't as high and there wasn't as much going on around him as some of those other pack marks.
What about the fact that he did run 300 metres to get to the...
Yeah, but, mate...
Did a lap of the oval first,
sorry, when the bloke's taking the photo and it's on the front page, oh, by the way, he ran 300 metres. Mate, it's not about the story. It's about marking it down on the scorecard.
See, I disagree. I actually think that it matters. The stage of the game matters. The impact on the game matters. The moment matters. Who you're jumping on matters. I think all of that stuff matters. When Nick Nat took that mark against Geelong, and it was a fantastic mark, from memory, they were up by a lot by that point. The game was well and truly over.
He's still going to take the mark.
Surely the height comes into it as well. Nick Nat's got that spring-heeled leap as well, and he's also got the height. Liam Ryan, just a forward pocket, isn't he?
Heavens above, fair dinkum.
He came from Geraldton. He came down from Geraldton.
Channel 7 and Channel 9 agreeing on something. Wow. All righty, let's talk about that.
And Channel 7 not pumping up Nick Nat. Thank you very much.
Don't
I
worry,
want that on the record.
It's on the way. Let me tell you right now.
What? They do wraps?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's new chicken wraps with bacon and avocado. Choose succulent tender crisp or flame grilled chicken breast. Try our 100% Aussie chicken breast wraps. Hungry Jack's, now delivering with Menulog.
Welcome back to Steel Blue Oval. It is Swan District 3-2-20, West Coast of 5 points around the grounds. In Adelaide Oval, West Coast just the 1 point against Adelaide 2-1-13. We hope you're enjoying the telecast as Luke Webster speaks to his troops. Let's take a look at the Hungry Jacks highlights for the first quarter. Steve Bandy avails himself to another chip and gravy. They've gone a tad cold at the moment. Bailey Williams good early. Now Italiano got that from a somewhat of a controversial sling tackle free kick. And there's some good defence. Rotham good, Brander good. Look at this. He got through two players and spun around in the corner. This is the Williams mark again in the pocket. He was good early. Swan Districts, as I mentioned, a couple of forward sorties here. Strong mark taken by Noble. And they made a match up there a little later. That's 50 metres, just a hand in against Cameron on Knott, and Knott blazed away. That is a massive kick. That was about a 60-metre kick from the veteran Tony Knott, three-time club champion, former West Coast Eagle, of course, and good mate of Nick Naitanui. And this is another one. Coleman just on the first quarter-time siren. That is a big grab, and he's now kicked 10 goals for the season. So fantastic stuff for him. In a moment, we'll head down to Dana Hooker, but those goal kickers in the first quarter, Coleman, Knott, and Italiano. Thanks to Hungry Jacks, those highlights. Just repeating that score from Adelaide. It is Adelaide 2-1-13. West Coast are 1 point. In a moment, we'll be heading down to find out what Luke Webster said to his troops as Nick Naitanui and Drew Petrie and Chance Bateman come off the ground, and the midfield group talk ahead of this second quarter of play.
I like what Bailey Williams provided there from a stability point of view in terms of a main focal target, Tim. No goals obviously to speak of, but it's critical to have that forward structure and a young developing player to be able to clunk a few, get the confidence going early. Fraser McInnes seems to be moving in a whole bunch of different positions here in the first quarter, so he's not your true key deep forward target at this point. So, and I don't know if you remember last week against Ajang, but he was fantastic in the ruck. So doing it well at all areas of the ground, young Bailey Williams.
Certainly was. Let's head down to ground level and get the latest from quarter time. Here's Dana Hooker.
Thanks, Goss and Steve. Just had a listen in the quarter-time huddle and what Luke Webster had to say to the team. Very positive vibe, and the messaging was clear that he's happy with the work rate. The contested ball numbers have been really good, and just looking for some deeper entries this quarter into the forward line, but really praised the efforts of the defenders and the work rate they've been doing.
Nice work, Dana. Dana Hooker, of course, part of our AFLW team. A wonderful signing, doing some lot of good work. Was, I think, up in the north during the week. Port Hedland, to Kalgoorlie gave it a run as well. So very busy young lady and doing some wonderful things. And we're looking forward to her pulling on the boots in our AFLW debut season. 3-2-20 to 5 points in the first quarter as the players amble their way off the ground. I'll give you another score check if I can. West Coast have got their first goal of the game over there, and Dom Sheed has popped it through. So that's good stuff by West Coast. 16 gone first quarter. West Coast to 1-1-7. Adelaide 2-1-13. A real stretch of resources, isn't it, when your team's away and your waffle team's playing exactly the same time? But wonderful, a lot of experience involved in the West Coast Eagles coaching group, and Nick Naitanui, of course, out and about helping out the ruck group here. And Bailey Williams will take the first bounce. Here's the second quarter. Here's Steve Bandy, thanks to Hungry Jacks.
Williams up against Corey Galt in the CBD. Galt able to follow up. Little light snap kick forward into the path of Coe, the first gamer. Slams it on the boot. Left foot, good spoil there from Wilson from Swan Districts. And Riggio able to collect, the skipper of the day. Cipro, great fake around Ainsworth. Back to Riggio. A low skidding ball is going to favour Fisher. Hurriedly on the boot, a little too quick in fact, and that ball sails out of play.
Just looking for some changes here in the setup of McInnes is still certainly playing deep defender, which is an interesting role for the skipper, Fraser McInnes. He's got Blakely at the moment with Galt in the ruck, so the resting ruckman for Swans is playing inside 50, so stretching the height of the West Coast defence.
Yes, well picked up there, Tim, as we see more restarting play. Thumps it down the line, very close. And in the end, Kalazic and Fisher help it on its way.
You just saw Denzel Moore from Upper Swan. Now, he's got the hair in a ponytail with number 34 for Swans who kicked it. Now, he is related to a former West Coast Eagle, Mark Zanotti.
Oh, wind it back, Tim.
Yeah, Saver Zanotti, of course, who played at Fitzroy and also Brisbane.
Archie can't take it cleanly. Cipro. Quick kick forward, tough bouncing ball for Kalazic. Fisher collects though. Ainsworth, back feed is on Curnow. One more available. West Coast really under the pump here. Great defensive pressure. Italiano is well collected also. Fisher just relieving pressure. Archie can't take it. Gray at ground level needs to provide some pressure. Salamone is there. He spun 360. Umpire wants deliberate, but that would have been pretty stiff. We'll have a throw in.
Yeah, they looked out, didn't they, Swan Districts, and it looked like they're going to get a shot on goal. That is really good defence. As Dana mentioned there in the quarter-time huddle, Luke Webster paying praise to the defence. They've been under enormous pressure. 2 goals from sort of undisciplined act, so to speak. Hats off to the defence. That was good stuff.
Gold works. Williams under it well. Mutimer can't take it cleanly. 3 Black Ducks around him. Great pressure. Dispossessed. Payne feeds to Gold. High ball to the flank. West Coast tracking back with numbers, but what a grab there from, who is it playing up forward? It is, in fact, Coleman. Great hands in front of Fisher. Kicks to the dangerous area. McInnes in defence, needs a spoil. Didn't get a lot on it. Noble at ground level. Good tackle, Rebillard. West Coast need to hold it up. Loose footy, but in the end they succeed. And, geez, they're under the pressure early in this second term.
Yeah, Coleman's taken 2 clutch marks, one before quarter time, which ended up in a goal, and that was another wonderful effort.
Not a lot of Fisher could have done on that occasion. Relieving kick from West Coast, but it's numbers through Swan Districts. Wilson sends it high, double fist forward. Rotham doesn't want to go into his back and turned him nicely in the tackle. And big skipper Fraser McInnes letting him know how clutch that tackle was.
Yeah, and some good tackling too from both teams. About 24 tackles apiece. It's certainly that type of game. Lay a strong tackle, force the turnover.
McInnes v Blakely, high tackle going the way of Coe. So West Coast, just with a chance. I don't think there's too many loose options. Just long down the line's the way to go. Brooksby working from about 5 back, got hands on it. Couldn't take it cleanly. Rayner dishes the handball. This is Moore. Just hurriedly on the boot in front position, paying dividends there for Swan Districts. And Howlett takes it mark just in front of Mutimer. Distance may test him. Once part of the East Perth alignment, young Mitch Howlett.
Yep.
9 tackles last week. A forward pressure little beast in there for the Black Ducks. Hoping to get his name on the scorecard.
Just his second kick today.
This will take one of the better efforts of the day. A little bit of breeze to work off, kicking it this way. The line is good, distance not so. Loose footy, Rotham collects. He's got numbers on the outside. Tough work there. Foley can't take it. And the ball headed over the line.
Josh Cipro for Swans leads all comers, has had 12 disposals. Brady Gray has had 10. So Cipro has jumped up on the stat sheet after a promising first quarter.
Not many easy touches there in Gray's 10. I'll give you the hot tip. He really is burrowing inside this congestion.
West Coast with another goal in Adelaide, trailing by a point.
Ainsworth kick has somehow gone backwards. Going to favour Swan Districts. Good sliding mark there from Blakely. Gives it off. Bit of trouble there from Turner, but he pirouettes out of the tackle. Has a loose man. Concedes a little bit of ground. But they'll take it. Hampson. Ainsworth not switched on there on the line. Gives chance for Hampson. Oh, terrific grab on the line. Has he paid it? The point post is still shaking. But in the end, Noble's going to collect it and would have very little daylight for this shot on goal.
Yeah, gee, they've taken some good marks inside their 50. They're really stretching the West Coast defence. That's why Luke Webster and the coaching staff have got Fraser McInnes down there. But he's still even under the pump because they've got some really good, strong contested markers, 3 or 4.
Noble wants the banana. Gives it his best effort. He likes it. What a goal there from Swan Districts. The first of the second quarter. West Coast in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, Swans leading goal kicker last year with 29 goals. I think he went back and played in the Ammos. And Dan Spencer, of course, former Swan Districts player, was coaching, I think, Trinity Aquinas and said, you've got to get back there, boy. So he's come back and he's certainly making a difference on his return. Very much all or nothing type of footballer, I'm reliably informed. He's good on the lead. He'll stand on your head. But they do say that he's not one of his strengths is his contested marking, but he's taken a couple of beauties so far.
We've even got sideline camera here. Look, coach's box. They don't want anything to do with us. We are obviously much too loud for them. I'll get the tap on the shoulder at half-time saying, that's enough, Bandy.
Well, you never know. They might be getting some extra information provided by yours truly and yourself. Of course, Dana Hooker, boundary side, keeping us up to date and said she was very impressed with Luke Webster's quarter-time speech. But they're just hanging on grimly here at the moment, West Coast, trailing by 21 points. It seems as though Swans are getting more bang for their forward line buck. 5
scoring shots to 6 in favour of Swan Districts, but the margin does not reflect that whatsoever. Mutimer quickly set upon there from Daniels. The handball was a little rushed. Mutimer follows up well, but he's claimed yet again. Little turn there from Riak. Swans claiming holding the ball, wouldn't have thought. They just need to get their hands on the footy, control a bit of the play. They haven't got control of the tempo thus far, West Coast. Foley collects it well with the one hand, but immediately wrapped up by a couple of Swan Districts tacklers.
Brady Gray, 11 disposals. Fisher, 8. Mutimer, 8. And O'Neill, 7, along with Josh Smith, 7. The leading tackler. Bailey Williams has had 3.
Smith immediately claimed there from Payne. And the umpire will restart yet again. Open forward line for West Coast. Should they get their hands on from this stoppage? Ainsworth can't get boot to ball. Riak in support. Spun in the tackle there from Hampson. Umpire's pinged him, in fact. A little stiff, but I can see it there. Hampson, with the majority of both sides in front of him in this forward 50, he's going to give it his best shot. Top of the goal square. Who's flying? Rotham, timely fist. Ainsworth to Smith. A little bit fumbly here, West Coast. Blakely tried to pounce, couldn't get boot to ball. Riak just bombs it out of there. Bit of relief. Roubiliard leads in the chase against Knott. He's got the speed. Needs the ball to sit, but Tony Knott, the experience, wins out on this occasion. Wilson finds Bain. Wonderful kick on the chest. Bain has a moment to assess.
It's tough for the West Coast Eagles because there's not a lot on offer when they get possession at half-back.
Goes inside 50, looking for Noble. Why wouldn't you? He's been clunking everything in the first half. Salamone
Good kick.
puts it out in front of Brander. They've got the number over the top if they can make it work. Little give, can't hit Foley. And Howard steams in for Swan District's kick forward. West Coast defence really under the pump. Like 10 pins, they all skittle down on the floor. Umpire lets it play. Italiano, brilliant spin, but can't finish off his good work. And a let off there for West Coast.
Man down for West Coast on the defensive 50. Trainer's getting out to him, not moving him at the moment. Is it Riak? Holding his head, I think.
No, it's Kalazic.
Kalazic, is it? Yeah. He said he was lying flat on his back. He's up. I just took a heavy hit there. The train's out to him, doing a wonderful job, of course. He might be coming off the ground for a bit of a chop out. I think he might be getting the old concussion test because he looks a bit sore and sorry.
It's funny because Rotham was the one that ran with the flight of the contest.
Yep.
And somehow young Kalazic has come out second best.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. I think Luke Webster wouldn't mind that. Great commitment from both his players, although you don't want to see them injured, but at least they're having a crack.
Rotham pumps it long. Oh, what a fly from Archie from about 4 deep. And the umpire says you can't do that and get 0 hands on the footy. And it's going to be a free kick going the way of Glass McCasker.
I know I'm providing this. I'm going to tell you something about Archie in a moment, a special comment as Kalazic goes off the ground for treatment. Dane will be keeping an eye on that.
A relieving mark taken there from Brooksby. Has the runner in Fisher on the outside. He abides. Short pass finds him. West Coast desperate to get their first goal here of the afternoon. Williams, the target flies, goes through his hands. Gold almost predicting the ball to be spilled. Geez, look at Swan Districts with the numbers here. Daniels, a good hit there on Coe, the first gamer. I think he's provided a bit of hurt. It looked like Daniels was in the best position to mark that ball, and Coe going back with the flight. Great gutsy stuff there. And how you can hurt a man built like Daniels is beyond me. But he's still crouched on his haunches at centre-half forward. Smith finds Curnow, the handball into the path of Fisher. And a chance for West Coast. They need to hit a target here. Smith, just one option on it's Rebillard. Puts it out in front of him. Has a yard on Glass McCasker. Sends the ball inside 50. Williams provides an option. Ball back inside 50. West Coast retreat. Rebillard puts it to the hot spot yet again. Good fly there from Cameron from behind. And finally, West Coast a chance to put a little reward on the scoreboard for all their inside 50 attack.
Yeah, well, that's their first inside 50 for the quarter, and we've been going 11 minutes. They had 12 to quarter time. They've now only got the 13. So that's was good small forward. He got in good position. There was a contest ahead of him, and he worked his way around the front. But they've got to get some reward here. This is bread and butter stuff for a player of this young man's ability.
Cameron. West Coast desperate to get their first on the board, and he's smoked into the woodwork. And West Coast have their goal, but in the form of 6 behinds.
Yeah, not good enough, to be honest. That's pretty simple stuff. Did the hard yards to find the contested mark, the chest mark, get to the front of the pack.
The ball out on the wing here. Rotham been very busy creating spoil after spoil. Gray collects back to Rotham. Ainsworth on the preferred left boot. If he can keep it in, he does to the pocket. Williams has got to create. Good fist back there from Swan Districts. Was that Tony Knott?
It certainly was.
Who else? And he creates a rush behind. Swannies want to move it quickly. Ill-directed pass, however, have put the Black Ducks under a bit of pressure. They're able to escape through Turner quickly on the boot. Loose ball, Smith. Fantastic collect, goes back to Mutimer. Another inside 50 for West Coast. Foley flying, which is a bit uncharacteristic. Ball trickling towards the goal square. Gets a bit of Tim May off break. Not enough, though. Williams, worried out of it. Big ball up for grabs here in forward 50. Riggio shares well with Blakely.
The dock.
And Swan Districts get out of trouble. Rotham, quality fist. And leading in the race to collect his own ball. Fisher there to help out. Needs to be calm, and he is. Ball out of play in front of the interchange gate.
Yes, now this is Brendan Archie. Have a look at his socks. What's going on here, Bandy?
Are they boots or socks? I can't
I don't
tell.
want to throw him under the bus, but where's the yellow bits, like everyone else has got at the top of his socks?
He's his own man, the Chi. Good to see it. He can't take it cleanly on this occasion, but butters up well with a tackle.
Everyone else has got the yellow on the top of the socks. He's gone the Peter Bell version.
When you take mark of the Millennium, mate, you can do what you want. Brooksby looks for him on this occasion, but can't reach him. Payne.
Pull your socks up.
Quick kick. Mutimer claimed immediately by Bain. West Coast, look at the disposal here. It's just real rushed and hurried. Rebillard can't take it on the chest mark. Wilson does well. Riggio looking for Payne. They're retreating in distance. Wilson needs to find a target here. Kicks to 2-on-1, but the one is the skipper, and he dishes it down to Archie perfectly. Here's Reid. You can tell the intent from West Coast. Want to move it quickly before numbers arrive.
They're starting to get their groove here, West Coast. They need, as I said, we've said it time and time again, they've got to get reward because they've dominated possession in the last 5 minutes, doing a lot of the hard things in their cleaner possession. Swan Districts are rushed at the moment.
Wants to go to the pocket, front position. It's all Howard on that occasion.
It's a poor kick.
Foley couldn't do much. The switcher plays dangerous. Can't take the easy one. React there. In fact, the boundary line gets there first, and he was the better defender in the day.
OK, so they've got the stoppage. That's a win for West Coast. And look, to be honest, they've been completely dominated on the scoreboard. But as I mentioned, the last 5 minutes, you feel the game is shifting. Just clean possession. They look like they're winning around these stoppages.
It's going to be Brooksby v Blakely. Foley v Howard at ground level. Good follow-up tackle there from Brooksby and Reid. Ball up for grabs. Simpson dishes it out. Umpires paid a free kick. Which way is it going? High tackle. I think it's Swan District's ball.
West Coast up by a point. 26 minutes at Adelaide Oval. 2-3 to 2-2. Dom Sheed and Jack Petrocelli with the goals, and Elliot Yeo with 9 disposals.
Hampson not a fan of Cameron's little tactic of standing over the ball there. Each to their own. Hampson goes long down the line, ball out of play.
Yeah, a bit going on between George Hampson and Jared Cameron behind play. We'll keep an eye on that one, I am sure. I don't think Jared will take a backward step, and George doesn't mind a bit of lip.
Yeah, Cameron listed as emergency, as we spoke pre-game for the Eagles team.
Somewhat surprised by that, to be brutally honest. But, you know, he's obviously getting closer.
5 tackles, 12 disposals and a goal last week. He does that every week down here at this level.
He's got trouble here.
He'll be playing his role. He has, as if on cue, thrown me under the bus. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the skipper for Swan Districts in Riggio.
It was pretty obvious. He didn't make any effort once he dived on it.
Almost touched on the mark, goes down the line. Front position there, Williams. Can't take it. Archie looking for O'Neill on the boundary. Fisher there in support. Rebillard, that's a costly drop. Swan Districts a chance to collect, but there's about 20 players around this footy. Umpires prayed a free kick. Who's this going to? Is it against Riggio to Archie? In fact, the umpire, I'm not sure the umpires know what's going on. It's one played advantage and the other did not. And Brander's got the ball at centre-half forward, 60 metres out.
So, I'm not too sure what all that is about, but the bottom line is if it's a non-controlling umpire paying the free, he can't pay advantage. So it had to come back.
O'Neill wants to pump it long. It's a helicopter pass, tough one to mark. Has he paid it? In fact, he has.
That umpire reluctantly blew the whistle then. He sort of half blew it. He was like, I think you've marked it.
Rebillard wasn't too sure either, but one way or the other, Wilson has it on the far flank for Swan District.
This is a lot better by West Coast. They're making it really hard. They have shut them down across the centre of the ground. Really liking what West Coast are doing at the moment. But once they get it inside 50, they've got to score.
Big mark there from Coleman, front position. He and Noble really providing solid full targets at this point in time. Kick is dangerous. Rotham, great support, but Hampson's going to win the free kick for high contact. They are flooding Swan Districts, though, so it is going to be hard to bring the ball out when they're sending so many numbers back there, Tim, but...
Yeah, work your way through it, though. Good teams work their way through it. Lower the eyes. A goal to Jack Darling. West Coast have got the lead over there in Adelaide. It is currently 3-3 at quarter time, 3-3-21. Adelaide are 2-2-14. 7 points West Coast. Goals to Petrocelli, Sheed and Darling. Yeo with 10 possessions.
I love this. Brady Gray almost collecting 2 paychecks today as a boundary umpire and player, adjudicating himself out on the full. Not to be, though.
More than capable.
Good, he's putting his hand up for helping out the levels. Archie's going to be first at the scene. Hampson takes him over.
Brady Gray's name's been mentioned, of course, for Monday's mid-season draft. Be interesting to see if anyone wants to dabble with former Fremantle, now West Coast waffle player, and very good pickup he is too.
Great body work there from Williams. Look at Brander just burst through the pack. Disposal up forward, low darting ball. Well taken there from Foley. He's providing a little dangerous option inside forward 50 as Foley goes to the pocket. Kicks towards Rebillard. That's the second mark he's dropped in the last 5 minutes. A costly one. Would have been a shot on goal for the Eagles. Wilson retreats back into the path of Foley. Was looking for Brander on this occasion. Ball's pinging back in Swan District's favour. Look at Cipro just burrow through there. Howlett and Wilson. This is goal. Look at the runner, Riggio, from half back.
He's got nothing.
He's got Simpson in front of him, and that's it. It's him and the goal.
That's it.
Umpire says play on, and therefore the rushed handball prevails. Daniels, good to see he's up and about from his last contest.
There's a ball in there, Daniels.
Yeah, I don't want to run into him if we're being perfectly honest.
He didn't care where the ball was. All he wanted to do was tackle blokes. He's recovered after a heavy hit earlier.
I read that he's had a few professional fights, and you couldn't pay me enough, Tim, to get anywhere near that.
No, he's a big unit.
Gold. Oh, heavy tackle there on Brooksby, but everything legal. The umpire will throw it up again.
So 20 points the margin. Swans have dominated on the scoreboard, but as I mentioned, the last 10 minutes of this game, you've got a feeling West Coast are right in this contest. I think Luke Webbs will be happy with their intensity, but just not finishing.
Salamone tries to burrow through, gives to Gray, sends it forward. Reed, the only target, provides a contest. She's a couple of top-up players. Reed's going to have an absolute ping from outside 50. Hasn't got the line. That's one of the goals of the day. New North Beach hero.
Your man, is that his first goal?
That's his first goal at the top level.
He's had plenty of chances.
He's had 0 goals for, missed some of the easiest goals in his career, and that's one of the best you'll see.
Nice work and well caught. It gives you great joy, and I'm sure that you'll be chipping that one. You'll be chipping that one up and clipping it up and sending it to him. I reckon you'll be giving that a little bit of a look-see tonight. The North Beach. You could have done with that last week. They would have beaten Wembley, I reckon, if he'd been playing. 1-7 to 4-3, and that just came from sheer hard work. From forward centre, West Coast have completely dominated this game in the last 12 minutes of play. That took a brilliant piece of goal, a brilliant goal, but gee, some strong work around the contest by Archie and Foley and O'Neill and Gray. Good stuff. West Coast are coming. They're in good condition. They're in good shape at the moment.
Good to see Coach Lukey Webster getting up and about after that goal, signalling for his troops outside the window here at Steel Blue Oval. Gray, another clearance.
You're almost sitting on his lap.
Looking for Cameron. The ball bounce doesn't favour him on this occasion. Wilson there providing good defensive pressure. In fact, the umpire said over-exuberant. He's gone in with a high tackle against Cameron.
Yeah, they want to tackle him at the moment, don't they? He seems to be target number 1 at the moment.
Let's have a look at this one. As we see Moore, didn't want any bar of that. In fact, it was Moore that provided oh, no, that's on Rebillard.
Here. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Not
maybe.
Quite. Against Warwick Wilson, I think he was disappointed with the umpire's call.
Understandably.
He's already had one crack. He's already missed a simple shot about 10 minutes ago from a very much closer out, about 20 metres out. So, chance to repay here. Back-to-back goals would be handy.
It's a big one for West Coast. Gained some control. He's pushed it well right, however. Still a chance. Swan Districts make sure nothing comes of it, though. Opportunity going begging there, Goss.
Yeah, he's sliced it twice now. He thumped that one into the post, and that wasn't one of his better moments. But he's around the footy. I'm liking it. I'm liking his intent.
14-point lead to the home side. West Coast have eaten into this quarter-time margin. That's all that can be expected at this point in time. Cameron a chance in the goal square. Goes over the top of the shoulder. Oh, he's made amends within 30 seconds.
Yeah, great goal, and he's pretty happy with himself as well. And what's happened here now is he's starting to, one, have an effect on the contest by his skill level, but also having an effect on the contest because Swan Districts are trying to make him earn everything. They're at him, they're verbally at him, they're physically at him. He just needs big support around him. At the moment, Swan Districts are worried about Cameron and the things that he was doing. He's almost annoying them into distraction. This is good, and I think that's an absolute positive. That is a wonderful goal, and this is sheer reward for effort at the moment. Brilliant stuff.
You spoke about this West Coast forward line in future years. Cameron, Petrocelli, Rioli, Ryan, Darling.
Let me tell you, if Cameron keeps playing like he has in the last 10 minutes, he will be playing AFL for much longer because he has certainly really lifted his rating in this quarter.
West Coast with a bit of momentum for the first time this afternoon here at Steel Blue Oval. Plenty of time remaining in this second quarter to get another. Brady Gray been magnificent out of the guts so far, but a sturdy mark there from Howard.
Yeah, you've got to bring it to ground. You've got to make that contest. You can't get out marked there, West Coast.
Looking for Turner or Bain. The latter has to mop up. Good tackle there from Smith. Blakely hurriedly sets a task for Payne. The ball sits for him. Little darting pass is over the head of Turner. McInnes can't collect, but he'll be happy with a boundary line win also.
Yeah, shared possession, about 52-48% in regards to the possession of the footy at the moment between these two teams. So plenty of opportunities for both.
Swan District's goalless at the City end thus far. We've played 23 minutes in the second term, so West Coast have got to be happy with their response thus far, as the game was looking to get away from them at a certain point there.
They did kick one. They did kick one.
Did they?
Yeah, they kicked...
I'm trying to forget about it, to be honest.
I think it was Noble who kicked the goal. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, only the goal of the day. Well done, Thump.
I think Nick Reed's got goal of the day so far.
Yeah, I was trying to not be North Beach patriotic there, but you're right.
Bias, that's called.
Correct. Brady Gray, another possession, but the umpire's picked up a trip, and it's going the way of O'Neill.
Yeah, struggled to get the free kicks early, West Coast, but now it was amazing when you put your body in and you have your hands on the footy, you do get reward. And I think I know it's a very basic philosophy. You have the ball, they've got to try and get it off you, and more often than not, they'll give away a free kick in the process. West Coast is starting to get the rub of the green.
Sends it long down the line. Howard yet again.
That's twice now, though. He has taken a mark without virtually anyone on him. They've got to bring the ball to ground. He cannot possibly be allowed to take those marks at half-back.
Averages 5 marks a game over his 137-game career, does Howard.
Good player.
That's a fair stat, that. Actually, great collect there from Foley. Like what I've seen thus far. Fraser McInnes out the back half. Goes the old banana kick to Cameron. Makes it difficult for him, but good follow-up. Needs to lock it in. 2 tacklers. He's able to do so. That was risky from Fraser McInnes.
Yeah, it was. Certainly was risky. But now they've got the stoppage here. Geez, they're only 8 points down. Who would have thought?
Great body work there from Brooksby. Uncontested hit out almost, but Turner puts his head over it. Blakely somehow gets a kick out. Brady Gray with the fly. Didn't know what was coming.
Surely it's a high tackle.
Nah, ducked into that, Tim. Come on, I'm up here. I see the same as you.
down with the ball. Wasn't it dark? You're allowed to come to ground.
Umpires paid the free kick. O'Neill, a high tackle on this occasion.
There it is. He was coming to ground, mate.
Bain to Wilson, inside forward 50. Fisher just worried out of it there. Goal too big, too strong. And Swan District's a chance for a settler.
Yeah, and that's what happens when West Coast just back off on around the stoppages. I mean, I thought he was unlucky then, Gray, not to get a free kick. He was just coming to ground. He didn't duck at all. So what happens is the back line, the defence is it's undersized, apart from Fraser McInnes. Quick entry, and the big men of Swans will take those marks every day of the week. So this would hurt West Coast coming into half-time.
Here is Corey Galt. 2017 best and fairest winners. Going to strike it from about 40 out. Umpire does a little bit of work, but it's snuck in.
Oh.
Swan Districts with the settler they need. The margin back out to 14 points.
Yeah, Corey Gold, as I mentioned, was at Collingwood, of course. It's good to have him back here in the West. And interesting enough, he was at Collingwood, I reckon, for it must be 3 years. He kicked a couple on debut. And again, he was on the radar of a couple of AFL clubs in the last week in regards to the mid-season draft. Not too sure whether he will be getting picked up, but any club in need of a big, tall, fit young man who's capable at the top level, I'm sure that he would certainly be close, but he might just be missing this time around on Monday.
No slouch in the ruck department when he provides a chop out for young Blakely as well.
Yes, so look, there's a lot to like about this, and Dano, I hope we'll get a. Hang on, what's happened here? There's a.
Is it the Water Boys not off the ground yet?
There's a 666. I think it's the 666. Yep, George Hampson was out of position, so well done by the umpire.
Oh, they're looking to play a loose man forward, Swan Districts.
So now they're going to throw the ball up. That's the rule here. Once the call's been made, so that's a warning. The umpire will ball it up, not bounce it.
Brooksby slams his body into Blakely, able to win out. Ainsworth at ground level. Brady Gray never stops working, does he? But it's Hampson. Good feed to Turner. Just thumps it long at centre half forward. West Coast with a couple of numbers. Umpire blew his whistle. I think someone's been taking
Yeah, Brady Gray down, and they're going towards George Hampson at this stage, and Brady Gray's not happy with the treatment, of course, in the solar plexus, I think, in the guts, so we'll keep an eye on that one.
Unsure if cameras collected exactly what happened there. All we saw was Brady Gray dumped after play, but been a while since he had the ball, so...
Tell you what, Brady Gray's had a fair game today, too, just quietly. He's actually been the player that's really lifted his team. He's up to 17 disposals, Brady Gray.
His kick, well off the target, though. Easy mark there for Warwick Wilson. I agree, Tim. Instrumental in this second quarter comeback from West Coast is Brady Gray, so let's hope he bounces back to 100%.
A couple of tackles thrown in there as well.
Hampson. Oh, absolutely crunched from Brander. Illegally, the umpire says.
No, it's a free kick. Yep, there you go. So now they're concentrating West Coast. They've got to keep their mind on the job here. Hampson will rattle your cage every day of the week, and if you just take your eye off the footy, he will dominate and you will lose focus. So got to be careful, West Coast.
Brodie Riak sending the ball out of play. Here's this tackle. I like the intent. Just a bit sloppy on the execution.
Yeah, left arm up over the top.
Going to be a serious player for this club for many years, Jared Brander. Williams wins the hit out. Swan District's Hampson had numbers. And there's the siren for half-time, Tim. A successful quarter, only just as far as West Coast is concerned, but a lot more positive footy played on this occasion.
Yeah, they wouldn't be happy with giving up that goal. Lazenby's a bit of a niggle, of course. Brady Gray, George Hampson, Jared Cameron involved, and also Jared Brander. So there it is there. It is half-time at Steel Blue Oval, and it's the home team up by 14 points. In that quarter of football, West Coast added 2 goals, 2, and the home team added 2 goals, 1. It could have been a lot better. West Coast certainly got some reward for their effort. Goals for West Coast, Jared Cameron and Nicholas Reid, the North Beach amateur. He kicked his first goal in waffle footy. It was a beauty too. And singles to Italiano, Tony Knott, which is an absolute rip snorter, Coleman, Noble and Corey Galt are the goal kickers for Swan Districts. In the AFL contest at the moment, we are into the halfway through the second quarter, and West Coast 3-4-22, Adelaide 2-3-15. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's half-time in the West. Steel Blue Oval, Swan Districts with the lead by 14 points.
Is there anything better than Hungry Jack's thick cut chips?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's large chips for just $2.
Or a cheesy cheeseburger for $2 and a nuggets and chips carry cup only $3. Penny pinchers everyday value at Hungry Jack's.
Living in City Beach, so driving 15 minutes to Subi, about 25 to Laflane. It's not the worst thing ever. It's all right, it's just with the hosties. As an 18-year-old, it was so daunting. Draft night, having to pack my bag straight away, and I was moving across the country 2 days later, moving in with a family I didn't know. Yeah, everything sort of was scary, but yeah, wouldn't change it for the world now. Love my hosties and love living over here, so it's a good lifestyle. Yeah, I'm about to move out of the hosties, unfortunately, to move in with Patrick Bynes and Jared Brander. So I'm very excited for that. It'll be interesting to see how if the house is still standing after a few weeks, and if not, I might have to move back to the hosties. Yeah, obviously, with Lecker retiring, there was obviously that spot opening up. Yeah, I didn't think I'd grab it straight away. Worked hard in the off season when I went home, and I think I had a good pre-season. But yeah, definitely didn't expect to have played this many in a row so far, and yeah, it's exciting. You always feel shocking after a loss, but obviously kicking a few goals and being lucky enough to get the award I got, but yeah, it just doesn't feel right in a loss, so yeah, it wasn't the best feeling. As great as it was winning the award and getting that individual recognition, I think it's important that we sort of get back on track now, string together a few good performances and get the confidence back. Or I don't think we've lost confidence, but I think it's important that we get a few good wins on the board now and get our season rolling.
They're always a challenge, and yeah, I think playing the Premier from last year is kind of as good as it gets in terms of trying to work out where we are.
The first premiership player has fallen, with the West Coast Eagles axing grand final hero Nathan Vardy for Sunday's blockbuster with Geelong. And the news is bad for star defender Tom Barrass, who may be sidelined until round 15 following foot surgery.
Yeah, in terms of backing our players in, we always back them in. Getting the mix right is important for us, but it was so disappointing last week, so we've got a few things we need to work on.
I think they've got a lot of experienced players. Geelong have been playing for several years, and their backline's been so good, and that's always why it's hard to score against them. And obviously the names in the midfield: Kelly, Dangerfield, Selwood, Duncan, all those guys are experienced campaigners, and for a team to beat them, you need to be on and you need to play for 4 quarters.
Beat them in the midfield and make sure that particularly Gaff and Elliott and Shuey don't have good days. Stop their defenders intercepting all day and making it hard for us to score. Make sure their small forwards don't have an influence, but be careful that you don't prioritise them over Kennedy, Darling and Allen. We'll just do all that stuff and we'll win.
Hawkins went it to perfection, runs in open goal, spears it through. Cats in front. Myers tried to step through, he did more than try, he kept on going, Brian Myers, it deserved to finish just like that.
Well, the Cats are absolutely belting them on the inside, and the game is living in chaos, it's living in contested possession battle. It's not an uncontested mark game, which suits the West Coast Eagles. Problem is they've only had 14 inside 50s in 40 minutes of football.
They're starving up there, Kingy. Darling, Kennedy, not enough opportunity.
They've had almost 40 opportunities to bring the ball out of the back half, and they have not scored once.
They have been demolished, the West Coast.
One of those nights for 2 weeks. Yeah, we can't play our way if we can't win the ball. Unfortunately, we were outplayed again around the contest, and very hard to identify what style we're playing at the moment if we can't win the footy. There is a lot of work to do, so I'm not going to sugarcoat anything.
Oh, it was a really tough day. Yeah, we're all hurting a lot at the moment, and we're trying, we're putting the effort in, but it probably doesn't look like that at the moment. And we're doing a few things right, but there's a lot of things that we're struggling with, and we need to fix pretty quickly, because we're 3-3. Hasn't been the greatest start for the year, but it could be a lot worse. And looking forward to hopefully getting back on the horse next week.
Let's have a little chat about the West Coast Eagles, Watto, for a moment. 2 really bad weeks, 58-point loss on the weekend.
West Coast has been dealt a second straight heavy loss, suffering a 58-point thrashing at the hands of Geelong.
The West Coast Eagles have tumbled down the AFL ladder after Geelong beat them by 58 points today.
Obviously, last year we were going from the Hunters, now we're the Hunted, so it's certainly one of those things where we've got to try and take in our stride, but we also got to play consistent football at the same time.
It wasn't ideal, I guess, how we played, and the talks internally were just about us, really, about how we were going about things. Results weren't ideal, but it was more about the way we were playing. So, coming into the Gold Coast game, we really just wanted to focus on a real contested type of game. There's a few challenges thrown out to a few different players, and yeah, it was good. The vibe wasn't, oh geez, we're going terribly. It was just in the middle. We had stuff to work on.
The best thing about football is it's week to week. So you have a bad game, you have a good game, whatever it is, you can always follow up the next week. So we've had 2 bad games, but yeah, we've got a good chance to, I suppose, rectify that, and we've got a big challenge coming up against Gold Coast.
Well, yeah, their pressure, in particular in early parts of the year and in early parts of the game, is elite. Yeah, so they're having a real go. So if we're not on our toes, we'll get whacked again.
And one late change with Tom Hickey out due to a minor hamstring injury, replaced by Nathan Vardy, who was dropped last week and has a big job tonight.
Super flat not to get up, mate. 6-day break doesn't help, but gave it every chance. Just want to be a part of turning the tide after a couple of subpar performances, and want to be there to help the boys get across the line, but I'm sure Vaz will come in and do a really good job.
So just think about what you've done in the past, think about what you need to do now, think about the process, and play your best.
It was just a little short, through the legs, Ryan found it, and he produces some magic. Darling doing the ruck work, and going all the way. Jack Darling with a bit of individual brilliance.
Yeah, it was good to find a little bit of form. Showed much better intent, and
for me as a player, when I show that intent, I usually play a good game. So that'll be my focus for the rest of the year.
They look desperate, don't they, Jace? They just look a bit more like we know West Coast have been the last few seasons, a bit more hungry.
Well, the Eagles get the win. They were desperately searching for.
I will take the win. I think you got to take the win. Yeah. So I think we've had an improvement. Yeah. Over the last 2 weeks, we've been really disappointing.
It's all about mindset. You can do as much training throughout the week on tackling that, or you can do as little. It's all about between the years. The big game next week against St Kilda at Marvel Stadium, the first of the year playing there. So really looking forward to the challenge again.
Really proud. So wins are hard. We're 4-3. All right, we've got the Saints this week. Another step forward. Okay, another opportunity to win a game. Okay, so we take a lot from tonight, especially the conditions.
We know that we're not far away from playing our best footy, and hopefully, starts this week against the Saints. Understand it's a big game again, because every game in AFL footy these days is a tough challenge.
It's one of those years where you need to be close to your best to get a win on the weekend. So getting a win against Gold Coast was pretty big for us, coming off a couple of losses. It's such an even competition now that you need to be close to your best to beat any side. So what we were able to do in the midfield, I thought a lot of our guys stepped up in there and really set the scene for us.
We thought we had some really good patches last week, in particular in the first half. We thought our contests and ability to stick ahead over the footy was pretty good all day. We let them back into it in the second half, so there's some things to work on there. So the most important thing is we won the ball, we tackled well, we were up for the contest, so that's our start point again this week.
Both clubs on 4 and 3. West Coast, though, have been so inconsistent this year.
We can control the game in so many areas. You've got to do the little things. Some of them are instinctive, some of them you don't even know you're doing, but some of them you really need to think about. All the little things that you do to make us great is critical. Don't neglect the little things. Let's set the tone for what we want to do at the first bounce today.
Obviously a really experienced group, the reigning premiers. They know what to do, but playing here at Marvel Stadium throws up different challenges, and maybe the Saints will just throw something a little bit different at them tonight.
Come to Melbourne and beat the Saints on their home track's not going to be easy. Here is Venables with a snap, and that's good. Oscar Allen, good start, West Coast. That's what you want to see from your big boys forward of the ball. Ryan steps forward and then vertically extends.
Probably our best four-quarter effort for the year so far, so it's really pleasing to come over, get a win on the road and go back happy.
Saints are playing a really good system at the moment, and you've got to be at your best to break it down. The numbers, the supply, the shots at goal, all the things pointed towards a good win.
Myself, Andrew Gaff, Jack Darling, Liam Ryan and Elliot Yeo were coming back from breakfast, and all of a sudden a huge creak, and it just stopped. So there was definitely some nervous moments. So it took us about 45 minutes to get out in the end. So we ended up just sitting down, listening to music, playing some cards. Luckily we just been for brekkie and had some cards with us. But yeah, it's a pretty scary situation.
Once it started to get 35, 45 minutes, you kind of want to take a break. And when there's, it's all right when there's one or two people, but when there's 4 or 5, it starts to get, it was getting hot in there. And I think Jamie Cripps tried to pass us through a couple of slices of cheese, which was pretty good of it.
Well, for me, celebrating is a lot of things, especially being Indigenous. Not so much all the other stuff. It's just when I grew up watching Indigenous players, that inspired me. They was role models without even them noticing about it, and the impact they have in the community as well. And that's, why I celebrate it these days. Very, very big, and some of the teammates as well.
Yeah, well, right in the heart are the 3 circles. And the 3 circles represent the supporters, staff, and the players in the middle, so it's concentric circles of support.
You always look forward to Friday night games or just playing on the weekends. Every time I get a chance to go on the field or grab a football, I always get excited.
Yep, he's back. So he'll play, manage minutes, but he almost ready last week. So we, instead of playing for Waffle Eagles last week, we trained him up and he's available this week, so he'll play.
So the West Coast Eagles tonight celebrating their Dreaming and Indigenous recognition game in front of their home crowd. Won't get the opportunity to do that next weekend.
Your late change tonight, so Hickey comes in for Schofield.
Yeah, obviously disappointing not to play. Gave it right up to the last minute and just wasn't going to be quite up to scratch. And I mean, for me, I sort of play on the edge anyway, so I need to be close to 100% to be able to play.
No, we're not looking at their form as something that's been horrendous. The last 2 games they've played some pretty good football, so we're preparing them at their best. But tonight, it's about this 22 and what you can do physically and with your work rate. Good luck.
Cole gobbled up by Vardy. Vardy gives it onto the running Cripps. He takes a bounce, closes to within 55, looking for a slider, and he's got it. He's got it. I reckon Melbourne have that spark has just stopped a little bit.
Really dug in West Coast. And Rioli pitched his pocket and rolls it home. Of course he does.
Liam Ryan saying, kick it my way, I want to jump over the pack, and here he comes!
Ryan! He's taken the mark of the year.
Liam Ryan leaps into the air, and Flying Ryan takes one of the best grabs you will ever see.
Gone, overgone. Well, the Premier is well placed. They've won 6 of their first 9. They can launch from here.
Melbourne was tough. That was a tough game, and I've said this before, winning's really hard, and we'll take what happened tonight any day of the week.
It was a grind. It was an absolute grind all day, and they're a quality team, so we expected it. But, credit to us for finishing the game off strong and sort of playing it out.
We just had a good setup, and we just all worked together in the second half. So once we defended well and got our ball going, offense going, it was pretty hard to stop them.
The facts are the numbers probably don't stack up, and that's been the case for most of the year. Our supply's gone down. So we're working really hard to get that right. If we can win in the meantime, that's great.
What? They do wraps?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's new chicken wraps with bacon and avocado. Choose succulent tender crisp or flame grilled chicken breast. Try our 100% Aussie chicken breast wraps. Hungry Jack's, now delivering with Menulog.
All right, boys, thanks very much for coming along today. This is the 8th year West Coast have been running a 2nd generation academy. Hands up who's been here before? Yep, we've got some good fun activities planned, some footy stuff, some other activities. So we might see a few of the players as they're walking around.
So make sure you enjoy the day, come away with a smile on your face and get the most out as you possibly can.
So today we've got our 2nd generation academy attending a camp at Subiaco. So our 2nd generation academy is our father, son and our father daughters of legends of the club who helped make the club what it is today. They come into camp for 2 days. The boys are here for Friday and Saturday, and we bring the daughters in on Saturday. The camp's been going for 8 years now for the sons, and this is the 3rd year. We'll be including the daughters, and ahead of AFLW 2020, when the Eagles enter the comp, we hope we might be able to see a few daughters of past champions play for the club.
So it's about engagement, it's about a bit of fun, but it's also about learning to sort of increase their football capacities as well.
And the younger kids were fantastic with their kicking. We did a bit of lane kicking, we did some competitions and some games where we test the kicking accuracy, and I was really impressed. So maybe in about 10 years' time, there might be some recruits coming through. Day 2, all right, big day today. We've got the game later this afternoon against our dads, all right? So ready for that? Yeah. Cool. All right, Brad Shepherd and Mark Hutchins this morning have been kind enough to wander in and say g'day and answer some questions.
We just gave them a bit of insight about us as footballers and the professionalism that we take in our job, and just passing on, experiences we've given them throughout our short careers, and a lot of eager kids coming through, a lot of fathers, sons and daughters of past players coming through, which is an exciting time for the club and for Hutchie and myself to be able to help them out and sort of be there for them and answer their questions.
It's in your diet, and you can have sweets, that's totally fine, but as long as it's just on the odd occasion.
So it's what you do away from the club which really separates you from being good to great. I know they're all excited about this program and what it entails, and I think they're more excited about playing against the old men out in the track this arvo than actually listening to Hutch and I speak. But it was a good morning.
Girls, feel free to tackle your dads, hit your dads, push your dads, whatever you want. Dads, no tackling the girls, no hurting them. They're my team. They're very precious to me, so no tackling them, all right?
So the father-son, father-daughter game is the most memorable part of our camp. The boys and the girls are going to take this opportunity to put their fathers back in their place and hopefully get a win.
And they're going to be struggling, all right?
Get the ball and run.
Get the ball,
Your ball movement is
right. It's been great.
Well, I've had the dads contact me in the lead up and to today as well, and they've been talking about some of the training they've done during the week, and I'll let you in on a secret. Brett Hetty did email me during the week and went for a kick with his son Josh, and he said that evening he couldn't get up the stairs at home. We get to play it out on Subiaco as well, which will bring back memories for some of the dads, but it's great for the kids to be able to play a game out on Subiaco against their parents, and it's certainly the highlight of the camp, and might be one of the last games played on Subiaco, so the kids will enjoy it.
All right, hands in the air on 3.
It's great that Ballpoint Construction Group support this event and have done for the last few years, and their support allows us to use Subiaco and kit the kids out in some fantastic gear and run an event over 2 days such as we are.
All right, son, 3 cheers for your dads, hey? Hip, hip. Hip,
Dads, 3 cheers for the kids. Hip. Hey, hip, hey, hip, hey.
Is there anything better than Hungry Jack's thick cut chips?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's large chips for just $2.
Or a cheesy cheeseburger for $2 and a nuggets and chips carry cup only $3. Penny pinchers everyday value at Hungry Jack's.
Welcome back. We're about to get underway in the second half. It is a 14-point lead to Swan Districts over the West Coast. You're watching the live stream, courtesy of Hungry Jacks. Let's head to the boundary line. Dana Hooker has an update for us. Dana.
Thanks, Goss and Steve. Spent a bit of time down in the West Coast change rooms, following the team in there and having a listen to what the coaches had to say. Again, another positive vibe in the change rooms. Really happy with the contested ball work within the team and being up in the clearances and ground ball gets. Just wanting a lift from the boys with their tackling pressure and just being a little bit tighter in defence. Have got word, though, that Joel Kalazic won't take any further part in today's game after his head collision in the second quarter has been ruled out as he failed his concussion test. But back up to you guys.
Yeah, good work, Dana. So there it is there. Joel Kalazic is gone for the day. And some news just through also. Congratulations to the West Coast Fever netball team defeating Collingwood in Bendigo 63-61. So well done to the West Coast Eagles girls, West Coast Fever girls, should I say. We're underway, second half.
Keegan Brooksby, brilliant buttering up work there from the ruck contest. Cameron at ground level, quick snap on the left. A perfect start here for the West Coast Eagles.
Wow, good call, Steve. Sorry about that, mate, giving the pump up to the West Coast Fever. But look, comes from winning the centre clearances, and well done to Big Brooksby. Pushed himself down the ground. And Jared Cameron, you must say, he started a tad slow, but he has made an enormous difference. Small forward, he's the first multiple kicker in the game. That is a real team lifter. Fantastic stuff. Great start to the second half.
Tremendous effort there from Keegan Brooksby, following up well. The runner getting out to him, no doubt giving him some encouraging words. What's interesting, though, is Galt. Young Kura Galt for the Swan Districts Footy Club is starting in the centre. We've got Blakely, normally the #1 recognised ruckman, playing at full forward. And Fraser McInnes at full back is matching up on him. So a few mind games getting played from the coaching crew, which I absolutely love to see.
17 disposals to Brady Gray, 12 to O'Neill, 12 to Smith, 11 to Fisher and Mudama, and 10 to Brendan Archie for West Coast.
Brooksby again with the follow-up. What a pirouette. Archie, sell some more candy, son. Gives to Gray. That's going to be disposal 50. Sends it to centre-half forward. Williams, tough bouncing ball. Cipro read it best. And Payne all of a sudden has got a bit of room on the outside. Little dart pass, finds Coleman. Swan Districts, a chance to advance. He wants to go to the flank. Lead out from Noble, goes over his head and trickles over the line.
Looking a little bit ugly over there in Adelaide too. It is a 28-point lead, closing in on half-time now to the Crows. They've gone, put the foot on the gas. They've got themselves to 7-8-50 to 3-4-22.
That's a shocking second quarter then, Tim. What's the score from there?
Yeah, second quarter has certainly been, I think it's just 2 points to West Coast and about 5 goals to Adelaide.
Ainsworth, good fist to the hands of Foley. Had his arm pinned, just got the disposal away. Curnow provides a tackle on young Howlett. And the ball will be thrown up, 15 metres out, tough angle for the Swan Districts. As we see McInnes and Blakely go at it, as they have been for the majority of the afternoon. Blakely hurriedly on the boot, but it's skinny. And a let off there for the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, Big Blakely. He's the brother of Connor, of course. Had a terrible knee injury in 2016. Didn't play again 2017. I don't think he played just one game in those 2 years. He's a doctor, he's a smart man, and he likes his Twitter.
Got to be the smartest man on field. Would you have to say, Goss?
You're in good hands if he's on your team. Yeah, he's a smart man. He's a good bloke, good fella, good family.
Rotham, long down the line. Oh, tremendous grab there from Cameron.
He's up and about, the boy. He is up and about. He's second, and now he's start of this third quarter. He is game-changing this.
Certainly not known for his contested marking, but take that every day of the week. Williams provides a contest into the hands of Wilson. He's well collected there from Salamone on his debut. And the umpire will throw it up. I can almost see the umpire stumble right in front of the broadcast wing.
It's a good spot, isn't it? Perfect spot.
He does look 14, so there's not much there. Hampson, oh, good tackle there from Gray. Umpire says he's dumped. Unsure about it. I like the aggression.
Yeah, and a bit of payback, don't forget, because there was an incident in that second quarter where Brady Gray got one in the midriff, and there's a bit of chat going on between Brady. As long as he doesn't get sucked in by the George Hampson chatter, you'll be okay. Good player, George Hampson. He's a good player.
He sends it along. Good fly there from Foley. I think playing his best game as a West Coast Eagle representative so far.
Still going on, George, still going on, yeah. Still going on behind play. We'll keep an eye on that one between Hampson and Brady Gray.
Gee, the kicking board from Mutimer well off the target. Cipro evades the Brander tackle, steps around Mutimer, feeds to Howlett. Archie, good tackle just in the nick of time. Still alive here for Swan Districts. Hampson's going to load up from about 40. The kick's on target. Oh, it's just drifted at the last second. And West Coast escaped. Don't know what Mutimer was thinking with that kick in board.
Yes, it's a simple kid junior rule. Be careful with those kicks. Don't kick to 50-50s in the corridor. Clear the corridor. So, yes, I'm sure that will certainly be getting a message out to him there. He's normally used the ball exceptionally well this season, Kurt Mutimer.
No, he's one of the best kicks in the team, no doubt. Short pass from Smith. Rebillard wants to move it quickly. Rotham's run about 70 metres to collect on the left boot, if you don't mind. Fights the debutant in Salamone.
Should have had a goal in his waffle career in that first quarter. Touched on the line.
Previous Swan Perth Football Club representative, Salamone. Under 23 state representative as well, so can play the game. We've got O'Neill loose here in the middle. He wants to go. Takes one bounce in the middle. West Coast numbers streaming back. The kick needs some penetration. Good work there from Moore. But here's Archie with the snap round the corner. It's there. West Coast are coming. They trim the margin back to 4 points.
Yeah, good footy, good transition footy from one end to the other. And again, Cameron was a tad unlucky then. He was going to fly and he slipped, probably just in a very raw patch inside that 50. Here's the replay here. Good transition, good stuff by O'Neill. There it is there. See that just, he went to fly. In the meantime, it sort of ricocheted back. But again, small men, talented blokes. Not everyone has to fly for the footy, and that was good by Archie. And he certainly, Roman's not wearing the full-length sock. That was a very good goal.
Very good collect there from Archie.
Does he get in trouble? Have I thrown him under the bus with the sock thing?
Kicks another two. You can have no socks. Who cares?
Kalazic on the boundary line, of course. As we heard from Dana, he's done for the day, had the concussion test, and it's disappointing for Joel, from the South Perth Junior Football Club, of course. Played about 30 waffle games now.
Thought Moore did well to get a fist on it there for Swan Districts, but Archie too good at ground level. As the umpire restarts play, Brooksby, Blakely's been thrown in there, said enough's enough, and he'll take the kick, courtesy of the umpire. To half forward, Foley going back with a bit of courage. Riak at ground level, needs to put some pressure on Italiano, just escapes the tackle. Daniels didn't even know where that handball was going. And the boundary line wins out.
The whole game has changed due to the tackle pressure. Again, we heard from Dana, her half-time report was that Luke Webster and the coaching staff said we want to increase our tackle pressure. That certainly started in the opening 5 minutes of this half. Good stuff, West Coast. They're in the game.
Hampson traps it. Well taken there by Reid. Worked further up the ground to provide that defensive tackle.
Has your phone gone off from the Reid family about the call of the goal? And
Nah, they'll be watching the North Beach Mighty. I'm sure they're not even watching their son. Big game down there at Charles. 10-year reunion of the 2009 Premiership today. So they keep the beers on ice for yours truly. Getting there, coming in hot. As the umpires picked a free kick, holding the footy as Gray tried to barge through the pack. Hampson, the recipient.
That's a good contest. Keep an eye on that one for the rest of this match.
Sends it to full forward. Good fly there from McCasker. Well done there. Eagle down. Kick toward goal. Snap round the corner. It's there. Terrific work there from Riggio, the captain.
Luke Foley's the man down. We'll keep an eye on that.
And a goal against the run of play there for Swan Districts. A good steadier. And they take the margin back out to 10 points.
There's the replay. Just fell awkwardly, didn't he? It's almost the contact came in the air. And again, that's just a good front and centre goal by Swan Districts and Matt Riggio. A real warrior for this football club. A dual fairest and best for the club, as we could see our man there. He looks okay now. Still looks a tad sore in Luke Foley, of course, but he's up and about.
I'll get you to get me some statistics on Foley's game today, Goss, when you got a second. But of course,
easy work, mate.
Riggio, that's one of the finer goals of the afternoon. Picked 28 back in the 2005 draft. Went to the Roos.
Yep.
Just the 10 games for himself. But no doubt can play at this level with a bit of style as well.
Luke Foley's game, 10 disposals. He's had 6 and 4 and 3 marks and had the 1 tackle so far.
He's been a difference maker for this West Coast side.
Stats for Hungry Jacks. Hungry Jack stats.
Umpire wants a bit of space for himself, a bit precious. Blakely bundles over Brooksby. It's going to work for him. Wilson's kick smothered. A chance for Curnow. Tough bouncing footy, collects well. To our man Foley, down the line. Bit of a scrubber kick. Hampson the first on the scene. Turner wants to get rid of it quickly. Wilson traps it effectively. Hampson, he's had a terrific game, Hampson. This is Daniels on the outside. Goes to the dangerous area. High flyers. McInnes brings to ground. Wilson a chance. He's collected by 3 Eagles. Gray's there. Foley tries to get out of there. Riggio, not another snap on the right boot. It's there. He's got 2 in a minute.
The Eagles are calling touched on this one. They're calling touch. Every Eagle around the contest is calling touch. Obviously, there's not going to be a review. And interesting enough, I reckon that was Foley again. It ricocheted off him. So that's twice now he's been involved. And guess who's been at the front of the pack? Twice. And that is, of course, Riggio. Yeah, there's a claim of touch ball.
Immediately, yeah.
Coe got through there. But Swans are certainly rejoicing, and the umpire didn't take it back. So that's a handy back-to-back goals, and that's got that lead out to another handy 16-point lead. But good work by Swan Districts. Got to get back in the middle here, West Coast. When they've won the centre clearances, they've looked very dangerous going forward. You mentioned George Hampson. He's just started to have an imprint on this game, hasn't he? There seems to be a focus on him, as there is in most waffle games from the opposition. But when they focus on him, it seems to open the door for teammates. He's doing a pretty good job here at the moment, George.
He's got a truckload of the footy.
Yes, I'll check his stats for you in a moment.
He's lining up on Reid in this centre bounce.
15, he's had 10-4. He's 10 and 5 and 4 marks.
Brooksby, here's the voice.
2 tackles.
Taps to the wing. Payne goes to ground. Smith waltzes in, collects. We're going to free kick against O'Neill.
Guess what? It's going to go to George Hampson again. So I reckon the message has to come out here to the players. It's all very well. He's going to keep getting under your skin. He does it in every game he plays. And you know what? He makes you pay. Focus on the footy. Don't worry about the individual.
Drives it long to centre half forward. Good spoil there from Riak. Couple of players overrun it. Brody Riak, good follow-up. Curnow to Rotham. Smith. West Coast just looking to steady things here. Wants to find a target. Little chip over the top. It's going to favour Bain for Swan Districts in the end. Not claim the mark. Ball in dispute. In the end, no one getting a decisive touch, and the umpire will restart things yet again.
That's a massive win by the West Coast Fever, isn't it? 63-61 to go to Bendigo against Collingwood.
I hear Collingwood are pretty close to flag favourites, as little as I know about netball.
Yeah, no, they've had a couple of years of choking now. Nat Medhurst has gone there, of course. There's George Hampson again.
He fires it long. Oh, risky stuff there. Foley can't take an uncontested mark, but his teammates provide support, get him out of trouble. And Brady Gray wants to go down the line. Archie drops an absolute sitter by his standards. Not at ground level. Puts a dangerous bouncing ball into a couple of West Coast paths, but they're unable to capitalise.
Yeah.
Geez, I've been pumping up Foley all afternoon. That's one you got to take back there.
Well, you do, yeah, you do. And it's actually, he's very lucky because that could have led to the third goal that he's been involved in, albeit under a bit of pressure on that occasion. But yeah, not good.
Geez, he minds this ball well. Sends it to centre half forward. Cameron has to stand his ground. Good work there from Rayner for Swan Districts. Ampson, who else? Gets the handball out to Payne. He's got a bit of time. Sends down the wing. Rotham can't intercept this one. Terrific grab from Coleman. He's got one on the inside. Ignores, goes a little longer. It's at the foot of Howlett. Can't take it. Daniels out the back. Keegan Brooksby, good tackle, holds things up. And West Coast a chance to reset inside their defensive back 50.
You can't question Foley's attack on the footy. He just hasn't had the bounce of the ball in this quarter. It hasn't been his best 12 minutes, but he'll work his way back. He's been good today.
West Coast can't concede another one here, you'd think. McInnes's kick is well smothered. Goes into the back of Howlett almost. Umpire swallows the whistle.
Gee.
Was a bit worried there. I'm sure Howlett was having a 6'5" giant land in his back, but...
There you go. Here comes the replay. He got buried into the ground. Oh, there's the smother. Great smother too. And now they felt... Oh, yeah, geez, very lucky.
Who else but Riggio? Little snap kick forward. Coleman goes to ground looking for the kick. Umpire not that silly. And they'll ball it up. Dangerous areas for West Coast. Top of the goal square, slide angle.
2 goals to Riggio and 2 to Cameron, the multiple goal kickers in the game.
Just want to concede one here, West Coast, I would think. The hit out goes further to the boundary line than goal line. In the end, Fraser McInnes has the composure to rush it. Oh, we've got an arm out of socket. Everyone's putting their hand up.
Elbow.
I think it's, oh my goodness, is that Coe, the debutant? And Josh, I think everyone's a little concerned for the well-being of Coe here in his first game. Alexander Coe, this could be a tragic scene of events if he's done some kind of serious injury, but a lot of concern out there from both teams, Tim.
Yeah, shoulder, looks like shoulder, elbow, arm, and...
here we go, a bit of a replay here.
Don't know if I want to watch it.
Oh, I've got 7 bodies in the way, so good luck trying to read it. He's dived forward and unsure. I can't even tell what arm it is from that.
It's his left, I'm pretty sure, and he's not moving at all at this stage.
No.
Now, the doctor is around.
Oh, so yeah, it is the left arm that they're attending to there. This is geez, you feel for him. You feel for him.
Holding, he can't even walk straight. Yeah, he's in a bad way. Holding it up there as he comes off the ground.
So there's going to be 2 fit men on the boundary for West Coast perspective, obviously with Kalasic going out earlier with a concussion. So this is going to test them, down 17 with 2 fit men.
Yep. Let's take a look at some stats as this play just stops as the play comes off the ground. So stat getters so far for West Coast. Brady Gray, 18 and a couple of tackles. Smith, 14. Xavier O'Neill, 13. Archie, 12. He's also had 4 tackles and a couple of marks. And half-time for the West Coast Eagles, you can see the score on the bottom. Yeah, that was all Adelaide in that second quarter. Got out to a 28-point lead, so that's disappointing for our league team. Mudima 12, Fisher 11, Luke Foley's had 10, Ainsworth had the 9, Brooksby's had 8, he's also had 26 hitouts. Rebillard, Cameron's had 6, 2 goals, 1. He's only had the 5 kicks, but geez, tell you what, he's made a difference in this game. Brander's only had the 5 disposals. Fraser McInnes has had the 4. Bailey Williams started in a blaze of glory. He's had 4 tackles, only the 4 possessions as well. And Brody Riak has only had the 1 touch.
Commiserations to Alex Coe being helped off the ground here in his first game. Looks a bit like me leaving the hippie club at 3 a.m. Not in a good way at all. And let's hope for a speedy recovery of some sorts. Doubt we'll see him for the remainder of the day, Tim.
Elbow or shoulder? It's hard to tell.
Smith puts it up to Archie. He had 2 to beat. Goal to one of them. Riggio, been prolific this quarter with a couple of goals. Bid the 1-2 on the boundary line. Centering ball. Unselfish, but in support is O'Neill. Taking the relieving defensive mark. He wants to come back to the heavy side traffic wing. Archie, good mitts there.
It's better.
That's stuck beautifully there for Brendan Archie. Wants the corridor kick, finds O'Neill. Been busy in the last couple of minutes. Lowers the eyes. Here's a good chance for West Coast. Smith had a runner bearing down, just gets it away. Kieran Hugg is going to be first in the ball. Wilson provides good defensive pressure there. Rebillard, little toe off the deck. Reed snaps it forward. Williams, right place, right time. Can't take it cleanly. The ball trickles out to the corridor. Riggio first to it. Turner a little fumbly. It'll work for him though, and Swan Districts get out of jail. They're on here.
Simpson.
Warwick Wilson collects, needs a long ball, instead goes short. That's a tremendous lead there from Coleman. Absolutely duped Rotham. Faked the lead towards the boundary line side, and then went straight back inside to a corridor lead. And a terrific ball there from Simpson, setting him right up.
Yeah, nice ball movement by Josh Simpson. He doesn't get a lot of it at the moment, but I tell you what, when he does and he's on, lace out stuff. Very hard to beat. Got to hang on here, West Coast. They're lacking numbers, and all of a sudden, Swans are all of a sudden starting to get back in the contest after a good start to the second half by West Coast.
Coleman lining up for his second of the afternoon. He's hooked it. Shouldn't trouble the scorers. The umpire, in fact, says it's run out of bounds. Simpson, obviously, very lucky to be playing in this game, Tim, accepting a reprimand for a striking charge earlier in the week, and that just got his points down to feature in this contest.
Yeah, former draft pick too, the Dockers, 17, had a lot of troubles, but they've kept him working up this way. He's working on construction, so that's good, and it keeps him busy.
Oh, Glass McCasker off the deck. Swan District's desperate for a goal here. Kerno, very uncertain about what he's going to do. Player down for Swan Districts at the top of the goal square. It is Glass McCasker, but that was comical play there. Yeah. Because obviously Kerno wanted to rush it, and Swan District's very wary that he wanted to rush it into the game. A game of chicken in the end. High ball, top of the square. What a fly there. Swan District's almost taken a massive mark.
Coleman, I think it was.
No, it was Noble. He got right up there.
Yeah, Noble.
My goodness, what a leap. Kerno follows up. Goes to ground. Brady Gray has to keep at it. In comes Rebillard to support. Riak. West Coast trying to move this out decisively by hand. Riak says, enough of that. Let's get it forward. And Brady Gray will escort it over the line. Would love another look at that climb there from Noble. Geez, he got some lift. Oh, that would have been something special and very detrimental to West Coast's game. But nevertheless, hanger's a hanger.
Was that big phrase underneath all that?
Yeah, he won't be standing at fullback after this game any longer if that's what's going to happen to him.
The big butt copped the knee right in the scone he did.
Williams brings the ball to ground level for Ainsworth. Good smother there from Turner. Bit of a chaos ball there in the end.
Jesse Glass McCasker coming off the ground.
Smith
holding his ribs.
He's got quite a bit of it in this game, Josh Smith, after a quiet first term. Rotham on the outside, wants to go back inboard to Brander. West Coast want to use it by hand. Josh Rotham, let it sit for him. Here he goes. Not too many options. Lowers the target. Cameron can't take it. Impeded with, he is claiming. Loose ball at centre half forward. Howlett needed to go hard, as to Mutimer. In the end, Moore mops up. Riggio sends it wide to the wing. This is Coleman.
Eagles have numbers back. He's got to be patient with his forward move here. He's basically got one man in 50.
This is Hampson. Well read there from Riak. Had to stick with him for the lead. Stevens tries to bust through the tackle, but Brady Gray was having none of it, holding the ball. The correct decision.
How good was that by Brady Gray? They were outnumbered, West Coast. Over at that, sorry, they had plenty of numbers around it, but tell you what, if he'd got through that tackle, that would have been, he would have run Stevens all the way to the goal face.
Gee, I don't know if it's Rocky 7 or Fraser McInnes on the boundary line, but geez, that's some vicious filming there from our local production team. I love it. That's how hard this game is, gentlemen. As we hear Coach Luke Webster shouting as if over my shoulder, instructing his troops for a bit of lift. This is Rebillard.
I'll go with squeeze in. Squeeze in.
He wants to
squeeze in.
Strike it long down the line. Brooksby has to work hard from two back. Ainsworth, good rove. Oh, well tackled there from Bain. Umpire says play on. Not enough time to get rid of it. Smith didn't know much about that tackler. And we'll have a ball up. Forward flank, Swan Districts.
Yeah, I reckon Fraser's got a mouthful of blood from that marking effort, that big flying mark of Noble. Got that knee right in the scone. That would hurt. So we made light of it. Poor old the skipper, not feeling the best at the minute.
Brooksby goes to ground. Desperate stuff. Or was that contact below the legs? It is. Brady Gray knew it. Advantage has been paid, but then brought back as soon as every member of the forward line said, I'm not marking it.
Yeah, I'm not touching it. No way. So, look, a 3-goal margin at the moment, and I've really liked West Coast just hanging on But you've just got a feeling there's a floodgate, and those floodgates are about to open because they're lacking numbers, and they're living in their 50 here at the moment.
You're right. They need one to stem the tide. Ball inside 50, high one. Good spoil, Rotham. Brooksby lining up Howlett there, brings him to ground. That's a bit of Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger, if I've ever seen one.
He's been tackled by him. He's a big man. Big man. Saw him get out of the car at the club the other day. Cheap as a big man.
Ball up inside forward 50. Webster getting up and about next door, as we can hear. Good trap there from Cipro. Hands to Hampson. That's clean ball movement. Riggio looking for his third of the term. It's going to fall short. West Coast need to keep their head here. Rotham been busy this quarter.
Well done, boys.
Gives to Curnow. And relieving defensive. Mark Cameron with a little fly, but hardly got a fingertip on it in the end.
It's okay.
Wilson collects. Not on the left boot. Can you tell he's a right footer? Sprayed it proper.
Don't mind Jared Cameron flying for that. That's exactly what he should be doing. He's got that bit of brilliance about him.
Well, he was out of position. It was the only option he could do.
Yeah. Don't mind that. Give the kid a licence.
Brand is going to take it. He drives it long down the line, not with a good leap, but can't collect cleanly. More, just a blind handball inside corridor.
Dangerous.
Rayner couldn't handle it. Archie, here's a chance. Great smother there from Swan Districts. They've given nothing this term. Howlett, quickly forward. Good mark on the lead. This is Gold. Moves it quickly. 1v1, top of the goal square. It's Coleman. Great tackle there from Riak. Gets it out. A chance for Italiano. He's put it inside the bouncy castle.
That was a terrible kick. Oh, the big phrase. He's got the Andrew Gaze going up.
Oh, that's hot stuff, isn't it? That's the Tinder profile, I reckon.
That's just ugly stuff, big fella. You don't want to see that.
Nah, that's guts. That's coming back out on the ground.
Yeah, we'll look at it. Is it? Is that what it is?
Oh, Williams from behind. Tries to fly, but Warwick Wilson says that was a bit silly because I took it without even moving.
Yeah, chest mark. That's twice Williams has flown for big flies like that, not laid a glove on it.
He opts for a long ball to the pocket. Coleman almost grabs it. Fisher, good spoil. Mutimer at ground level. Swans have some numbers, but West Coast, little clearing kick. Big ball up for grabs. Nick Reed runs through the line of it. He's got some time, but absolutely no one to go to. Hence the little chip-in board. Searching for Rubiliard, but the Black Ducks prevail.
Oh,
tough bounce for Riggio. Here comes Howlett. Streaming food. Ducks the tackle. Handball over the top. And an easy goal coming up for Gold.
That was in slow motion. There's a lot of standing around. I thought Riggio must have lost sight of the ball at one stage then. It came in, but just had numbers around it. So, yeah, not one of, for either team. There was a lot of static players. Have a look at this. Riggio sort of didn't really attack the footy. Almost Howlett went one step too far, ran his full measure. And despite the fact there was a chase down from Rotham, that is a goal that's a dagger in the heart with three-quarter time not too far away. We've gone 24 minutes and the margin's starting to blow out a little bit. Again, just repeating, just 2 fit players on the bench. Dana will give us an update, I'm sure, shortly, if not at three-quarter time.
Easy in hindsight, Tim, but Reed going the little 15-metre pass inboard. He had to kick a long way across his body. If he misses the target, it's a big chance for Swan Districts to counter, as we just saw. But if you go long and just kick for distance, kick for pocket, kick for territory, maybe I mean, we haven't had the ball inside our forward 50 very often.
You've got to give your back line some respite, don't you?
You've got to give play a little ground football on that occasion. Brooksby, handball to no one. Hampson overruns it. A chance for Reed. Can he reprieve himself? Swan Districts not letting him have a clear touch there. Umpire will go again.
Play underway in Adelaide. Gone 3 minutes into the third quarter, and we've added 1 point only. It's 3-5-23 West Coast. Adelaide a 7-8-50.
Great, gritty clearance right into the hands of Cameron, and he really has been a live wire this afternoon.
Going for his third.
And good things will come. Here we go. Oh, was second guessing himself there. Saw something he liked in the pocket. Maybe Brady Gray.
Did he really? Did he really want to give it off?
Well, he sold it well.
Not so
This will take a tremendous effort. Has got the distance, needs to come back. It's there. Terrific finish there from Jared Cameron. He puts through his third.
Hasn't had a lot of the footy, but what he has done has been exciting. That's his 7th disposal, 6 kicks, 3 goals, 1 now. He's flown for a mark. He's upset the opposition, and he is very much an upside player. And this performance, I think, is certainly going to keep his name on the magnet board at West Coast. He was in the 25, of course. He's in the 25 named during the week, 26 during the week for the game in Adelaide.
Well, you did say on the AGL rundown, Tim, that he wasn't quite ready for it yet. So you're telling me one performance has got him back in the frame here? Are we backstepping here?
No. I'm making an assessment that I've seen him 2 weeks in a row now, and this performance is better. His output is better than it was last week by a country mile. Reward where there's credit where credit's due, mate.
Hard to argue. Back in the centre, Brooksby wins out. Umpire has recalled this one.
They're at nagging length, aren't they, West Coast? They're at nagging length. Archie's gone behind the ball. Oh, it's got to go back. They've got to reset here, so it's the 6-6 rule.
As we see Coleman getting a little attention on the boundary line. Let's hope he stays there for the majority of the contest.
Yeah, he's taken a couple of nice marks. Good goal.
This is a big 5 minutes for West Coast here in the shadows of three-quarter time. Brooksby taps to space. Hampson lurking as to his pain. Good pick up there from Smith, but he's wrapped up immediately. And if they can just pinch one more, Tim, heading into the break.
No doubt.
This game is well and truly alive. The flags tell us there's a slight breeze
it's a zephyr.
Kicking towards what will be West Coast end in the fourth quarter, but
whatever that is.
Probably not too much to speak of. Brooksby hangs on with the tackle, but the umpire says play it on. Happy days. And we'll see it again. As you can see, neither team willing to give a clearance in this occasion. They understand the importance of a forward 50 thrust at this point of the game.
Inside 50s, 34 Swan Districts, 26 to the West Coast Eagles.
Gray working hard, playing a bit of ping pong with himself. Italiano can't keep his feet. West Coast with numbers. Reed just thumps the ball along on that left boot. Good contest there from Salamone. Needs to hold it up. Hasn't got too many numbers. Hug is there, as to is Wilson though. And Rayner a chance to clear for Swan Districts. Goes to the wing. Kerno, beautiful little juggling mark there.
Yes.
Oh, the umpire's played juggled over the boundary line.
Yes, correct decision.
Always the wet blanket, the boundary umpires. No, only joking. Was well called.
No.
We can see plenty over on the other side of the ground.
Free kick count's an interesting one. Don't want to harp on it, but it's 16-8 Swan Districts.
That seems harping. Back to Brooksby. Can't get a clearing kick out. Look at Reed just burrow in there, showing true North Beach guts there.
Oh, pull back, mate.
Handball. Well collected there from Wilson. Puts it in the path of Turner. Smith needs to worry him over the line or wrap it up, and he does the latter. Umpire will restart things. I don't think the ball's travelled more than 20 metres in this last 5 minutes.
No, but you've done a good job calling nothing then.
Fair point.
You knocked off those chips and gravy at half-time.
That's what happens when I leave it with you. Ainsworth seems to have rolled an ankle very briefly there, but seems okay. Howard and Wilson at ground level gives to Graydon Wilson. His ball is out of play. Smith appealing for deliberate. I don't think so, Josh. As Coleman maybe just going to sit things out until three-quarter time.
3 goals, 4 in this quarter, Swan Districts, and West Coast have added 3 straight.
Good numbers over there at the Carlton Draft tent across from us.
Yeah, no, they keep this club going, those people.
They need a couple more. Hang tight for another 25. Umpires found a free kick out, going the way of West Coast. Hallelujah. Brooksby the recipient.
Drink responsibly, drive responsibly.
Not in that order. Brooksby wants to kick to touch. Goes down the line. In fact, he's pulled it nicely. Salamone in between 3 ducks, taking a good mark. Time not on his side. Wants to move it quickly, I'd imagine. Sees a corridor option. Mutimer got a thumping boot on him. He obliges. Hens to full forward. Williams is there. Good spoil from Howard. Turner. He's got a paddock in front of him. Pulls the kick. Geez, that's a nice one. Terrific hands there from Noble. And the big let out of jail there from Swan Districts. Rebillard could have gone back with the flight, pulled out there. Fisher couldn't do much about it. Turner, a little dribble to the boundary umpire. It's going to be collected by Fisher. They've got numbers. Need to use it wisely. O'Neill finds Foley, and here we go. Riak, big ball here. Centre half forward. Williams over the back. Hug is there. There's nothing in front of him. They're going to be doing well to keep possession, West Coast, as numbers prevail. Galt lowers the eyes. Jared Brander going back with it. Beautiful mark, tracking back.
Cameron just got a little backhander, trying to get past to Shepherd. Nothing deliberate.
Unfortunate timing there as the siren sounds and reads inside 50 entry is absolutely frivolous.
5-7-37, the West Coast Eagles in that quarter. They added 3 goals. It was a much better quarter. Good, solid stuff. They started in a blaze of glory, and Swan Districts added 3 goals, 4, so they've extended their lead marginally. And that lead is spot on, 3 goals at 3-quarter time. A quick score update from Adelaide, and it is the Adelaide Crows in control of that game as we speak. They are 8-8. 56 and West Coast are 4-5, 29, 27 points to the Crows, 10 minutes gone. We'll take a break. We're here, the live stream. Hope you're enjoying it on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever else you're watching it. Tim Gossett, Steve Bandy and Dana Hooker with you. Back with the final quarter shortly. We're here for Hungry Jack's.
Is there anything better than Hungry Jack's thick cut chips?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's large chips for just $2.
Or a cheesy cheeseburger for $2 and a nuggets and chips carry cup only $3. Penny pinchers everyday value at Hungry Jack's.
Thoughts on the potential winner?
Look, there's some pretty crappy dogs down here, to be honest. Yeah, Duggo's dog, it looks good, but I don't reckon it's got a lot of brains. There's a few like that. There's a few that look okay, but actually don't have brains. I see a sausage dog running around out there. I don't know whose that is. Absolutely no chance.
To be honest, he's just here to make up the numbers, but, you know, he's always a sneaky chance. He'll give 100% effort, so I'm looking forward to see how he goes at his first race.
Yeah, look, I'm looking to go back-to-back, definitely. We've got 2 options here with Ada and Phillip.
Yeah, it's Archie. The breed is a cavoodle. Don't really like my chances, but just bring him along for the day.
My name's Paul Davey. I'm a vet from Grantham Street Vet in Wembley. I'm down here today to keep an eye on this field and be the official track vet for this event. I mean, the smart money would have to be on JK's dog from last year. Although I have concerns, I was going to get the RSPCA involved. I mean, the guy's called his dog Phillip. That's got to be cruel.
Phillip won last year and Ada come in 3rd, but she was a bit of a decoy. Stevie tried to take her on, and obviously Stevie came off 2nd best. And Stevie's never won a cup, so the cup's named after her, and she's never won, which is so. If one of my dogs win this year, they'll be 2 out of the 3. I think we should change the name.
The secret weapon, the Italian Greyhound. Chances today, looks ready to go.
Mate, he's absolutely petrified. He's that timid. I thought he'd be a little bit better this year, but already shaking his ass off. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm not too sure the rules on whether or not you can throw a ball to, try and entice him to run straight, but we'll have to wait and see.
I've got a good feeling today. Yeah. Good. He's switched on. Stevie's been training for a while. As you can see, he's in pretty good nick.
Looking at the favourite for this year's SS Cup, Stevie.
He's got probably one of the worst behaved dogs down here, so yeah, good luck to him, I suppose.
No, he's never won, Stevie. We've just named the race after him, so now we can wear it with pride. Really good though, actually. We got a sponsor this year, so Grantham Street Veterinary Clinic have donated some money to the RSPCA WA, and it's just a good recognition of dogs, I suppose. And I think over half the list have got dogs, so get them down here and have a bit of fun.
What? They do wraps?
Yeah, Hungry Jack's new chicken wraps with bacon and avocado. Choose succulent tender crisp or flame grilled chicken breast. Try our 100% Aussie chicken breast wraps. Hungry Jack's, now delivering with Menulog.
Welcome back. Thanks to Hungry Jack's. We're about to get underway in the last quarter of our waffle coverage here, our live stream. 8-7-55, Swan Districts, West Coast to 5-7-37. Hungry Jack's highlights, let's take a look at them. This all has happened. Good snap goal by Jared Cameron, of course. This was in the 2nd quarter when he was up and about. And then, Swan Districts responded with their own. It was a really good contest, and it really was the big men in the forward 50 that made the difference. Of course, Corey Galt was one of them. Coleman's another. Also, Braden Noble, Tony Knott,
Cameron has been electric early.
Yeah.
You think about it, Noble, Coleman, Galt going forward. Josh Rotham, your most senior defender on the defensive side. Obviously, Harry Edwards missing with a stress reaction in his foot. They're doing well to hold up as it is, but it's tough going.
Yeah, it is. And there was a good front and centre goal by the man with the blue socks, Brandon Archie. Jared Cameron's got 3. And then there was just a couple. Riggio kicked 2 in this quarter, in the third quarter. There was a claim of touch ball in that one, but Swan Districts held their lead and held their nerve and do take a handy 3-goal lead thanks to Hungry Jacks into the last quarter. Well, Dana Hook has been working overtime, so too has the coach of the West Coast Eagles waffle team in Luke Webster. Let's head downstairs. Here's Dana.
Well, the atmosphere has certainly picked up down here on the boundary line. The Swan District supporters have really picked up. They're getting behind the team and trying to will them over for their first win on their home ground in nearly a year. In unfortunate news out of the West Coast camp, Alex Coe's afternoon is finished and he's off to hospital with a dislocated elbow. So some unfortunate news there, but let's hope for a nice tight fourth quarter.
Geez, I remember, look at him there. I remember when Bowie Waters, that left elbow is doing plenty. I remember when Bo Waters dislocated his elbow playing waffle footy on his return, and they once described it as one of the worst screams you've ever heard. And I tell you what, if Bo Waters is screaming in pain, Tim Gossage, you want no part of that whatsoever.
Very true. Now, the margin is 21 points. West Coast have added 3 goals in the third quarter in the game in Adelaide. Jack Darling's kicked his second, 6-5-41, but Adelaide have steadied. They're 9-8-62, so the margin back to 21 points. Let's go around the grounds in the WAFL, and let's take a check in there. Just got a feeling that Dana's microphone might be still open downstairs, boys and girls. There it is, thank you very much. Just in case. 23 points, Subiaco, 10 gone last quarter. Subiaco 9-9-63, Claremont 6-4-40. That game, of course, is at Claremont Oval. The Perth Demons, all the supporters, Adrian Barrich-led, have come out of the woodwork to barrack for the Demons. Well, they are down by a handy margin now. In fact, it is 34 points. East Fremantle 11-5-71 in the last quarter, and Perth are 5-7-37. And the other game is much closer, and that is a game between South Fremantle and also East Perth. And at the moment, it is South Fremantle by 11 points. They are 13-9-87 to 12-4-76. But our game, thanks to Hungry Jacks, is a good one. It's a 3-goal margin. West Coast still in it. They trail 8-7 to 5-7. The margin is 3 goals.
Thought Luke Webster, the coach of the West Coast Eagles, was maybe spending the quarter on the boundary line side to get away from us here at the commentary box. We are a tad loud and annoying, Tim, but in the end, opting, wow.
Speak for yourself.
It's not worth it.
Speak for yourself as play waits for the Canberra patrons to make their way off the ground up to the Carlton Draft Canberra on the hill. Wonderful initiative too, 3-quarter time. So many kids out on the ground. A lot of Swan District supporters out and about. Fantastic. Great initiatives by the Swan Districts Football Club. Hats off to them. A lot of young kids through the gate. It's worth coming to waffle footy, and today's been a perfect example of grassroots footy at its finest.
I loved it, Tim. That's one of the biggest half-time kick-to-kicks I've ever seen on a waffle ground. The amount of kids and families out there having a crack at it, and the running race at 3-quarter time. I almost jumped out the window having a crack myself.
And the little fella was just holding up play. There's a tiny little kid holding up play.
The race is over, mate. You missed it.
He's just run off the ground. He held it up for 90 seconds.
Big quarter of football in store here at Steel Blue Oval.
Fast start needed.
As the umpire lays the ball down, 3 goals the difference. West Coast will be searching hard for the first opener. Goes through the hands of Hampson, but he butters up with a good second effort tackle.
Gee, it was a good tackle too, Hampson. There's no prior. I tell you, it was a really good tackle. I think it was on O'Neill.
O'Neill knew every part of it. Galt and Brooksby doing battle. Umpires found a free kick, and that's what front position will get you for Keegan Brooksby.
Yeah, exactly right.
The recipient at centre-half back. No runners streaming out of defence at this point, so ends up tracking back. Does he know which way he's kicking, Keegan? Finds McInnes with the Hannibal Lecter type face band. Luckily, a well-taken inter-relationship man, Fraser McInnes, because he wouldn't be doing any damage on the scene this evening. Fisher has it, the back flank.
The clock's not counting down, but I can assure you, I'll keep you posted. It's 2 minutes gone first quarter.
Dumps it long. Hug at ground level. Handball a little off the target. Ainsworth can't collect. Tony Knight just sweeping behind play there. Sends a high ball. Fisher in best position. Blakely provides a very timely fist. And a win for Swan Districts with the ball out of play.
Yeah, just lack of numbers here for West Coast at the moment. They've only got the 2 on the bench, of course, which is not going to be great running them into this last quarter, but they've just got to hang in there, get the first goal, and all of a sudden I reckon Swans will be on the back foot.
That's what adversity's made out of, Tim. 2 fit men. I can see the storylines already. They've got to dig deep. I'm backing them in. The umpire will start us off here again. Brooksby looking for Gray, as you would with the afternoon that he's had. Can't clear it on this occasion. Ball spills in the tackle, though.
Another goal to the Eagles in Adelaide, trailing by 14 points, third quarter.
Ooh. Not that we want people switching over, but that could be an exciting little conclusion.
We'll keep them posted. They don't have to go. We've got the close one.
His first goal, just absolutely critical in this contest, Tim. It's going to be deflating for West Coast if Swan Districts are the first to act. Riggio, snap went about 1 metre. Hampson understanding of that. Back feed to Wilson. He wants to pump it inside 50. The Flyers are all up. Good tackle, good attack there from Stevens. Italiano searching for Payne. Fisher wraps him up. Ball at ground level. Cipro, runner on the inside. Italiano tried to fake, had to hang on to the ball if you're going to do that. Cipro with a check side shot. Says missed to the near side. And that perfect start goes begging for Swan Districts.
I'm told that Adam Simpson has got the YouTube on in the box in Adelaide, keeping an eye on this contest here at Steel Blue Oval.
You think Jamie Graham's doing the 3/4 time address?
Correct.
While he just
Simo just says, I just want to see how the boys are going.
Coming to beat Tony Knott, the main one. Brady Gray shrugs the Hampson tackle only just. Cameron working hard at ground level. Hard footy to be won in there. Hug. Can't get a clear touch out. Reed, yeah, I saw that. Reed was reaching for the ball and in the end brought his opponent down while trying to collect. So Warwick Simpson it is. He swapped his blue boots for white at half-time. Kicks long into the pocket. Tall target. Coleman almost takes it. Hampson at ground level. Left foot snap on goal. He kicks truly.
Yeah, George Hampson, he let him know it too. He signalled to the crowd on the bank. That was a good goal. That's a game. West Coast didn't need the first goal going to Swan Districts, but they've lived in their front half in this quarter so far, and we've almost gone 5 minutes.
Oval coach's box, watching that one.
Leading possession getter for Swan Districts in the last 3 games, George Hampson. Don't forget, played in the state team as well. Third club. It was at very quickly from East Fremantle, and also, of course, he left Subiaco.
One and done in the Sharks.
Yes.
After the year they had, do you blame him?
I don't think he had a choice, to be brutally honest. I think there was some negotiation over a contract, and it didn't quite negotiate the way for George, but found its way to Swan Districts, and he's been a good addition. I was talking to Phil Smart from the footy club up here a couple of days ago. He said he's been a really good acquisition, and you mentioned it earlier, Steve. He's involved in the years, and wonderful support to the kids coming through at the club.
Contract dispute. Tim, TMZ, gold.
That's not Miles' fact.
Ainsworth claims certainly with yet, but have to get on their bike